Board of Selectmen's fiscal 19 budget work session on Wednesday, April 4th at 5:30. Those present are the three members of the Select Board, the Chief Administrative Officer, and the Town Accountant and her staff.
Staff.
There you go. So,
Technical problem.
I think one of the things we'll have to look at, everybody should spend the next couple of minutes while
Yep.
the town accountant is loading up the computer, reviewing the capital expenditures planning committee listing.
Oh, yeah.
Chairman Joe Didi had facilitated those meetings, and Joe, you might want to look through the list and give
not gonna
people an
use this, right?
idea of
Yeah.
what was decided, so that once we're done with that, then we can get into the capital tab sheets. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
You know, can't go with her on that one.
Is that Junior's?
Pass me.
Is it really?
Oh, you got your finger to do that?
Hey, can I look at your face too, which is even scarier?
Yeah. That changes daily, so I don't know
Yeah.
what I do. I go with the thumbprint.
So you?
It only logs in if it's Happy Joe. Happy Joe's not here today.
I don't know. Does it have one of those?
I don't know.
Joe's.
There it is.
Yeah, up there.
That's not gonna work.
So what did you
Oh, that'll work. Where's the thing?
think
Oh,
about
wait, I
that?
think there's only one.
More bites on.
They only get one crack at that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look at
Knock yourself out. If anything confidential comes up, pretend you didn't read it.
that. Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry.
Military industrial secrets.
That's right.
Guess I shouldn't have shut it down when I brought it over here.
You're fine.
It's all good.
It's only.
It's only us. All right, is that thing on?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, Joe was gonna just mention the capital planning.
So that's everything over 25,000.
Yep.
Okay. Right, remember there had been a report
Yeah,
by
And
the
Russ,
committee?
they're all well over 25,000.
I know. I'm looking.
That's the good news, right?
I'm looking.
Well, that's what the Capcom does anyway.
All right, so the cruisers, which we know about. The next was the fire trucks. At this point, it looks like they're gonna try to do two of them versus one of them. I don't know nothing about any grant money or if any of that's
No,
even
he's
gonna-
already, he did submit for it, but there would be,
No, I knew that, yeah, we hadn't heard nothing back,
at the
right?
end of your meeting next week with the finance committee,
We might have some.
there would be an apparatus, bond ready for you to look at.
Right.
The wording's being developed by bond counsel on all the different potential bonds.
But it'll be tight as far as if there's any grant money out there.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
And let's face it, the town was fortunate, it did get over, almost 100,000 for the SBA unit.
right.
So these other documents we have here, Laura, we could start with the corresponding capital one that matches the report Joe's reading.
Oh, I'm surprised I didn't think we recommended the addition on the building.
No, I think those were all tabled because of the feasibility study.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, there's nothing over to the right, so.
No, it says table.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, two tables, sorry about that.
Right.
So the 50,000 for the highways, the normal paving thing. Next is the 47.5, which is what? Is that the sewer?
No, that's your usual paving, but you
50, okay, yeah, 47.5 under construction.
Right, construction,
30,000.
paving.
Surprised we didn't round up to 50, but 30,800 for the highway.
Make a suggestion.
Yeah,
Maybe if we all went off of this page.
is it on there?
yeah, he was just looking at that while
Yeah.
Doug and Laura were getting the machine ready.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Sorry about that.
It was-
guys.
Yep.
Start with animal control and go down.
Go down.
Woof.
Right there. Just take that one out and start with that page. Now the board just needs to go down, and of course, this particular capital document is the under and the over, but it's right there. It's all in order.
All
So
right.
now you just need to start evaluating each one of those and giving a yes or a no as, you know, as a
And go through
preliminary.
the preliminary, go through it the first time, see where we're at, then maybe come back. So,
All right.
okay.
Pretty sure that's what's gonna have to happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So I
Right.
guess the first one's a yes,
The animal control and that, yep, that was
and the
the,
cage, we said yes to.
yes. That was the easiest way out of that deal.
Right, to convert it,
The file cabinets, we said yes to.
the assessor.
The channel 15,
Yeah, we're gonna have to, in terms of the other types of things we're doing, and this would also involve being able to put the cameras in some of the rooms. I'm not sure we're gonna have the full amount of money in this account, because Laura's gotta
Yeah.
make sure, so we may be more comfortable lowering that other number down to like maybe 10.
Yeah.
so that comes out of the existing account.
Yeah, right there, that is not tax, that's out of your franchise fee revenue account. And this goes toward, Joe, the scope of services that
Yep,
we have.
completely understand. So if we put it
Peter
at,
Cowles is gonna be submitting a scope of services
Right.
to help us?
so if we put it at 5 and it comes over 5, we have to wait till the next town meeting?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this,
And
I just know some of these
this
guys
used to
get,
be within the revolving, you could just do it, but ever since they did the municipal
Mm-hmm.
modernization bill, you have to treat this just like the EMS account.
So you wanna
That's-
change this to 10?
so, because you think there's 10 in that account, that's
Well,
why.
There's 30 right now.
Right, but we
There's-
also have to fund
Right.
I
the
got
other
that.
parts, the operational parts and the.
I'm fine
other
with
parts.
10, but I don't want that spent unless we really, I don't want to hear later we bought all the shit we didn't need or don't use, so.
No, that's why Peter's
that-
giving,
yeah,
Peter.
okay.
Part of this is also, we're gonna have a relationship with the guy that runs
I know
it
that.
in Westfield.
I
He's
get it.
giving a scope of services. He's
Yes.
already come in and done an inspection.
Good.
Change it to 10 and put a star, that we might
Oh.
come back to this?
Sure.
The COA van, we told her, nope.
And she was just putting that on the
Nope,
list?
it's all good.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get there.
So what's this, finance committee approved $2,020, what's that?
Or is that a
but
fiscal year?
I'm wondering if they were putting it off and when we typed it in.
Yeah, that
Well,
might,
That is-
that's, I think that's a
it's-
fiscal year.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're
2020.
scratching that,
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
So they'll amend that column for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, next one.
Stormwater,
Okay, you can see the FinCom already did their recommendation on that.
okay.
What's the board say on that one?
Well, it's a tough one. I mean, we'd love to pass it down. But someday they're gonna come through and tell us we don't have to do it,
Right.
but.
Well, that's why I was trying to get at Randy when we discussed it. What can we do? Can we hire interns? Do you need
Right.
a few dollars to go out and to identify everything so that we
Right.
have that and start collecting data? You know, I don't mind putting a few dollars to that because that can help us with other things.
Right.
Well, that's already under the positions. That's
Okay,
under the
so-
salary.
all right.
one.
All right.
So then stormwater, no.
Okay.
That's my decision.
So you would need the capital software and office software for Dick and his office, and that's what was requested by them.
Under,
So engineering.
Just under engineering.
Engineering.
but not related to the nippities. That's just regular ongoing stuff
Right.
he needs.
Yep,
Was that delineated in the budget?
yeah, this is all in the budget.
And does that come back every year, or is it a one-shot
It's just one time.
software?
It'd be easy to find on this sheet here, because if it's in prior years, it'll be on the sheet. So if you go under, engineering,
Page 12.
page 12. Yeah, those are recurring items. But you've had, those have been in the budget.
And they're spent?
Yep.
Of course they are.
One was underspent, one was overspent, and
Shocker.
the software was got, and the office equipment was, that wasn't fully done, and you've already got 353 out of the 950 for the software this year.
Still working all right?
So why does it go back in? I mean, so it's 950 every year? Or it's been in the past? Like, why would it be in there? Wouldn't it just be in the, you know? It'd be like it regularly goes across and it's just the same budget.
That might have been the way they filled the sheet out.
Yeah. There's some,
That's more of an operational issue.
This is capital. Engineering capital, $120,000. That's it.
Yeah.
DPW engineering capital.
Yeah, that's
Right.
operational, so just move that back to operational.
Just cross it out.
Yeah. Well, they'll still put it in operations, but,
Right, but it shouldn't have been out here.
right. Okay, and then the next three are the standard
The
requests.
standards, yep.
Any issues on those?
No,
Doug?
I don't know that. We have to look at that, and the road situation is not good.
Well, that's why we were gonna look at, in addition to these are the standard ones.
Yep.
You'd probably be looking at a supplemental transfer in May, like you do every year, at the end of the fiscal year, where you have some money to put into that.
and do that at the special town meeting.
Right, along when you're doing the snow and ice
Right.
and those things.
Right. Okay. So the first three,
First
Yeah.
three.
okay?
I would vote yes on the culvert on the Granville Road.
That's the Shirtlift Brook culvert?
No,
No,
that's
another
Granville
one.
Road.
Oh, sorry.
That's the one that you said that could close down that road.
Yeah.
That's near Hastings and Klein Road.
Yeah.
Duncan,
Got it.
That area. Fred Jackson.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I would star the other ones, all the rest of them.
What do you want to do with them? What is starring them?
What I mean is come back to them after we go through for the first time.
All right.
You know, that's what I would recommend.
Sidewalks too?
I think we have to, Joe.
Yep,
You know, I mean, then come back and we're gonna have to pick and choose.
yep.
But I mean, I think we gotta do the Granville culvert. We can't let our main artery.
Oh, no, I'm with you. Yeah. Dump truck.
We kind of played our hand on that one.
Yeah, we
we're
already know
done.
that's,
Yeah,
We don't have any choice.
We just surplus the one minus the wheels, so this is the replacement for same.
right.
correct.
So, yeah, we're
Yeah.
pretty much in a bind there.
And I would star the tractor. I just don't understand. I got tractors, Joe, you got tractors. 30, 40 years old, I can still get parts for them, still get them repaired.
64, yeah.
I don't, we got new tractors. that
53
only
years old.
A few years old and we can't get parts for them? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Is that no then?
I would just star it.
Oh.
Star it
okay.
for now, we're gonna come back to it. And the 1 ton,
Yep,
starring it or you're
That's a
buying
yes.
it?
buying it.
And how about the vibratory roller up above there at 33? We didn't really talk about that.
That was the start.
started.
wasn't
Was this, yeah.
I would star it.
All right.
it? The roll-off, that usually comes from grant money.
Yep.
We're not sure how much will be coming in each year, you know, obviously recycling's and paying what it used to, but we'll see where it
Right.
goes.
And radio is no.
Yeah, that's a,
And public safety radio is no.
Oh,
An emergency management edition, no?
Voting,
Well, the radio, Charlie usually does that radio amount every year, so that's really almost like a recurring number.
I thought that was the radio that he was proposing.
No, that's the,
No,
that's
that's
the
the public.
radio to
That's
do.
the one below it for
That's the
15.
one below it
Digital.
for 15,
That's
the
the radio
radio
station's the
station.
next one.
Oh,
He needs
okay.
that 4,000.
You need the 4,000.
How come the finance committee voted no then? They were
because-
thinking the same thing I was thinking?
Bastards.
yeah.
And I apologize.
So is that a yes?
Yeah, he's carried 4,515, 2016, nothing in 17, and he's putting back, this is that P25 compatibility.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
P25 compliant, Russ,
Yeah.
remember?
Yep,
So,
Remember originally he had 4,500, he said he could do it for 4.
okay.
which also means he could do half of it this year and half of it next year too, if
Correct.
we really wanted to come back. So if you want to star it
Let's start.
and come back to it, but I think that that does need to be done. The radio, someone wrote cable funds. I don't know if you could do
Yeah,
it. out
did
of
he put
cable.
that there?
No, the finance.
Yeah, when, the, you know,
They
That's,
was out there.
well, but I don't think you can do it out of there either.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
No.
Maybe you could, but it'd be something in an outlying year.
yeah. So what's the board's pleasure on the 15,000 and the 150? Finance committee's already given their recommendations.
Yeah, it'd be a no at this time.
I'm a no on the radio and the building. We've
No,
got a
it's
building
definitely
survey
no.
going on.
We're
and
gonna do the
look at that.
feasibility
Yeah,
later
you can't
on,
just do
right.
that.
Well, fire department we have to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Yeah, I mean, you already have the specs being developed.
So,
Make sure in those specs it includes lettering the vehicles so they come in lettered.
But I will say, the important thing you need to recognize with this one is, I've given you the bond,
And we like red, right? Red, we want red or black? Red?
you see where Agawam is now going back from black to black and white on the cruisers?
Yeah, I
So
saw
it's
that.
actually
Well, they got
seeing-
some bad press on that
Yeah.
Yeah.
blacked out cruiser.
I don't
But they got
understand why
deals on
fire
them.
departments are getting some bad press on their black vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how can you spot a black vehicle? You know, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be emergency response.
Especially at night. I mean, it's great they got $6,000 in lights on them, but hidden, but still. It's,
so going back.
anyways, yes.
Going back to the apparatus, I gave everybody this document here
Yeah.
at the budget hearing, and it shows you how much the debt service is dropping off. Because
Yes. We're gonna have to go back to that, but
Any one
yeah.
of these things, so your debt drops off 51,009 for fiscal year 19, so anything that we would do an authorization for, we would do a short-term borrowing, and we would make that interest payment probably in June of the end of that fiscal year. And then you would then start take that 50-something thousand of capacity and then parlay that with the other 268 that becomes available on July 1st for fiscal year 20, and then you got the
Okay, that's
148
20.
fiscal year 21. So that's when you would start moving the full money over, recapturing as it drops off.
Into the
to pay-
long-term bond.
To the long-term bond, right.
Right. Good idea. Good plan.
That's, I got a discussion about that later.
Okay, that's what myself and the finance offices have been talking about with Maureen Pacella over the last couple of months.
Right, and what's that current number at 600,000 now?
The current debt service?
Yeah.
Let's see, yeah, it's, for general fund, it's at 690 right now.
Okay, so by 20,
So it'll get down to 638
Yeah.
next year with that 51,000. But remember, you're
Right.
gonna use some of that
no,
for
no,
the short-term
I'm
borrowing.
good with that.
And then in 2020, it goes down to 370.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you're talking about,
Yep, that's what I'm
replacing the
talking about.
program.
Okay,
And then
that's
the
fine.
year after goes down to 222.
Holy shit. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So that then dovetails into the, remember I had also given you at the meeting, just blank numbers about if you did a $1 million note or one and a half
Oh, what the
or a
payment
$2
is.
million note,
Right.
what the payments would be over like a 7-year term, a 10 or a 15.
Right.
So you also have an idea where you could start to see, okay, what would be the debt service as we get into these notes so that you can
Which
see how
ties
it
back to
matches.
that number.
Right, on how it drops off under your debt replacing debt.
And I
Got
also, I want to look at if we can take, and that's just talking, if we can, and if we have to wait till 2020, I get it, maybe taking another 400 grand a year and maybe package 10 years worth towards those fucking roads. And
Yeah,
bond
no, you're
that
right,
out, and
absolutely.
So now
We
we can
have
say
to
to
do
Randy,
it.
we got 800 grand a year for 10 years. Can we do something?
Yeah, we have
You know,
to.
and then
Absolutely. No, that's the way to
Because-
do it.
he's
Because
at
he's-
3.2 or 4 million, and we cringe. And like half the things we just crossed off are part of those.
Right.
You know, so if we can sit there and say, okay, here's 10 years worth of 400 grand on top of your chapter 90, let's
Right.
hit these damn projects.
Right.
You mean like, so essentially you'd be catching up on everything under the beta plan?
Yes, that's kind of what it
Which
looks
is the
like.
road part. Remember, the beta is not culverts, it's just.
Well, I don't know,
Yeah,
there's 2 or 3
culverts are
culverts in there
culverts.
too.
We're doing a culvert a year as it is right now. We're gonna
Right.
get 2 in, looks like here.
Especially if that kind of numbers are rolling off, I don't want to replace all that debt. But
No,
if we
because we
look
got
at,
the other growth that's happening elsewhere.
Right.
but-
but that's
No,
like,
you're right. No, you're absolutely right.
Well-
It's genius.
The other thing you
instead
need-
of putting 200, oh, here's one culvert, let's, you know,
Right, so let's
It's a thought.
let's talk about, for a minute, what those things might be. You got your rolling apparatus,
yeah, oh, yeah.
trucks,
Yep.
fire, this or
Right,
that.
which we're doing.
You got your roads and infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then, depending upon the results of this feasibility study.
No, and I know that's right, I don't want to, I'm not trying
Then
to spend
that's
it all.
also going to be something that
Right.
dovetails into this debt replacing debt.
Right.
Those will be like the 3 large
Right,
categories.
and I'm not trying to get up to 600 grand in debt tomorrow. But if 400 grand over 10 years is X amount for 15 years,
Right,
Then-
but always remember, when you say the number, there's the interest part of that
oh, I get it,
number,
no, I
not
get
just
it,
the principal.
I know.
Well, that's why you look at the payment.
Right, that's.
And you
it.
look at, so you can
That's why-
equivalate, I just made that word up. You can
Equate.
equate what that, because you know what your debt service is now as a payment.
Yep.
Right,
Right,
Right.
principal and interest, so now
You
you
got
can
it,
do the
exactly.
same
You got the thing
thing.
we can
Right.
just roll, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sort of like an amortization
So,
schedule.
Yeah.
This might be an excellent time to start doing that, because we have a president who is proposing to rebuild the roads, and you have a Congress that seems on board with that.
Right.
I know it's not gonna be fully funded, they're gonna be looking for matching funds.
Well, there you
Right.
go,
State
right.
Randy did
local.
inform
Right.
us of
So
that.
this might be an excellent time to start planning for that, because you know it'll take a couple of years for them to
Everything,
implement it.
yeah.
So we might.
Especially when the second administration, the second term administration comes up.
Yeah, then they'll be giving
Let's
away
not get
cotton
ahead of
candy.
ourselves.
Yeah,
Let's just get that first funding.
yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Alrighty.
All right, so we're back. We agreed on the fire department.
Everything?
No, the apparatus replacement.
Right, okay.
Finance committee is recommending 10,000 on the security facility upgrades.
I think we can star that for now. We just spent a lot of money above it.
All right, so we're starring that. The hoses, though, we
Yeah,
gotta
we're gonna
have.
do the hoses, right.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Assessor server, we gotta collect money, so we can't say, never say no to assessor.
That was identified, Doug, during the review, so.
Correct.
So
And
that's
that's
a
part
yes.
of the overall mass IT piece too.
Yeah.
That money may get used to a greater extent than just to the assessor. Remember my little
Yeah,
chalk talk we did here? Sorry it was in the winter, you were in Arizona. but
It's in our sketch.
Sorry, I missed it.
My sketch that was,
Yeah,
so anyway.
with the PCs.
Did we
removed.
give them the
That's
hose
typical.
at least?
Yes,
Yes.
no, yeah.
I'm gonna start.
And I think the new fire trucks come with cameras, so they can just
No.
point them at the building.
You know, that's another thing though on that apparatus replacement. That was a big omnibus piece. There was technology in there and there was mattresses in there, right? That was,
no, that's under the security facility upgrade, that's not under the apparatus.
sorry, below it. Security and facility upgrade, correct.
Right.
Sorry, I misread.
Right, so that's why
So
the FinCom
that
okayed
had
10.
technology plus mattresses, right?
Right,
And I talked to the chief about some of that, not the mattresses. Some of that is better served as operating expense than capital expense anyway. Why do we buy this stuff that has a 5-year life or 4-year life? Why don't we just pay it and then it comes with new stuff every 4 years? It's to your, like you're
Right.
bonding for the roads, right?
Right.
Same thing. You buy a set of cameras and the stuff is outside, and then every 5 or 6 years
It'll
you
jump.
put a new you throw it out. right?
Right.
So we'll just
Pad it, maintenance.
do it as
500.
OpEx, right, and, right.
Yeah.
Well, come back to it. Okay. New PCs, town hall, that's a standard request. Damn it.
Was the assessor server okay?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
If they can't collect money, we got problems.
yeah, and that one's,
I don't think I can, unless your mother can.
Lake management, who wants to do that one?
They agreed to everything over there, so buoys and moorings, or moorings, right? Another
Yeah, those are
2,000.
generally things that that committee does on behalf of the chief and the harbor master for
We have a harbor master?
navigational aids.
Yeah, most of this is standard.
Right.
I just didn't know whether,
So the buoys, that's standard.
yeah.
Buoys.
the only thing I'd star is the replacement of the gazebo roof at North Pond. I can't understand why we had Westfield vote, now Westfield Technical Academy.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
They came out and did work on the entrance shed for us.
But you
as a
still had to
project.
pay for the materials, Jack Shepherd.
Yeah.
Because that
It's
particular
a
shed.
gazebo roof.
Right, but that particular shed, the other one was the entranceway into the ramp, which was the facility for the launching.
Right.
This other thing is a whole other separate thing. It was a tourism grant.
All right, but it's still a roof that would be a great opportunity for kids to learn how to roof.
Right, so do you want to put material
I-
cost in?
I'm saying start for right now and just let's reach out and see if that's feasible.
Is everything else good though?
Sure, they're doing a great job. They always work well with us and others.
is the weir gate done, or is that another weir gate we're doing?
That's another, I
That's-
think that's the one for Great Brook.
Right.
That's the one that was broken.
That's for
That's the
Great
one where they
Brook.
just
Someone
got
used a
wooden-
pipe wrench to
They have just
turn it.
wood.
Right, that's
Wood
gr-
panels.
Right.
Gotcha.
Is there any way you could, where it says Brook Weir Gate, where you could also put like Great Brook there in front of that word and move it over? Like slide it over and put the word Great in front of it? Because the other Weir Gate is down the canal.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
And I think what we ought to do someday is all of us go down there and do the 1 or 2 mile walk and down the trail and look at that location.
I did it.
Have you
In a
looked at-
cruiser, yeah, I went down in a cruiser, looked at it.
I think I
and
used the word
drove
walk.
back. I did hear you say walk. I went down in a cruiser, looked at it, and then came back.
Did you give him his buoys?
Yeah, we gave him everything except,
The
the
gazebo
roof.
roof.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Turn it over. no,
Okay, turn it over.
Ah, crap, there's more.
Yeah. Alum treatment, oh, we can't afford it at this time.
Well, that's gonna be part of the grant application they're doing.
Right. But I mean, we can't put it in a budget now. Right.
No. And I know the next item is, that's definitely something that the CPA committee or CPC committee is gonna look at,
Yeah.
the dredging.
Yeah,
So are we taking it out of the budget then?
Well, I see a question mark here, so, Laura, that means when that came up for discussion,
Discussion,
they were looking at that
the
fund source.
Yes,
So they were supporting the other fund source.
Oh,
Okay. So we're taking it out.
Right.
yes,
And we're taking out the 1.2
yes.
million for the dredging.
Yep.
Okay. We're still doing carpet replacement.
Okay, now, you
Is
just,
this the parking lot or what? What's left?
No, we did that 2 years ago. That was 40,000 for the sinkhole.
okay,
But I'm not picking on the library. I
No,
don't need
we
a
love
phone
the
call
library.
tomorrow. I already got yelled at once this week. from the
okay, so
library.
you've done some other work in previous years. This year you scheduled about $32,000 for painting and carpeting.
Okay.
Part of that was to deal with the sprinkler rehab
Right.
and the conference room.
We're gonna have about
You're-
16,000 left over.
No,
18,000?
your vendor's 18,800.
Okay.
So you've got 12 left over. And your carpeting, so that'll deal with the painting, but it's not gonna be enough to do the rest of the main floor, okay, main open area floor. and the conference room. Now, none of this deals with the director and assistant director's offices, which still have to be carpeted and painted later. So this amount of money is, the 12,000 you got left over is not gonna be enough with the 5,000 here to do the carpeting. So I think you're probably gonna have to go up near 35 to 40 to get it all done, if you're going to deal with either the carpet tile approach that a local vendor in town was, recommending we do, but, some quotes ended up being on the high end, and we couldn't even use those and had to reject them. So,
Since we've been doing the carpeting in stages, even in this building, we've done room at a time.
oh, yeah, we've done 4 or 5, and that's what they've been
And we
doing.
saw how the figures came in higher than we thought.
Right.
But we're gonna have the painting done. Perhaps maybe just do the main library this year
You mean do the main library in the carpeting part?
in the carpeting.
Okay, but you'd still need to put more than 5 in.
Right, we got 12
Yeah.
plus
5 is 17.
Well, don't,
No.
well, yeah, you got 12 left because the painting bids came in over it was 18 and 14 were the two numbers. Your painting bid came in at 18.8.
yeah.
So 800 of that we're holding against a PO under repair and maintenance to sign the contract to get it going.
Right.
But the
So round up
FinCom
to
is going
19.
to, on their next agenda, okay 800 of the carpeting money to go toward the painting, so that we can get that done.
So then we'll have to replenish that money.
So, right, so let's just say, so that'll still bring you up to 20, you still got 12.
Right.
So what would you calculate we would need just to do the main area of the library? Based on the bids that you saw.
Oh, it'd probably be about 20,000,
All right, so if we have 12 and we put 8 in here,
yeah.
we could probably do that portion of the library.
I'm hoping, I'd have to go back and double check, because don't forget, we got numbers from people. If I went and looked at the numbers, the 3 bids we just got, I could tell you what those were.
Okay.
You want me to go get?
No, I'm gonna ask the board, you like this approach?
So if we go
or
to
am I crazy?
8, yeah,
I have Peter
only so much
Weber's
bleeding.
number, and I have King Brothers. Only 2 of the 3 vendors who were gonna paint were gonna carpet.
Right.
So I could give you what their breakdown was for the carpeting for each room. If you would like.
Well, not to speed up this meeting, because we don't wanna be here all night long, if you could plug in that figure and we could just star this?
So,
Okay.
So 8 versus 5.
Oh, boy.
Now, some of the next stuff, I know at some point the board was gonna be having the board was gonna be having that other board use their revolving accounts on the money they're supposed to be bringing in.
That's what we told them.
Well, but they have to list it as, you don't have the inflows here, it's only the outflows, so.
Right.
You're right, it is there, it's in, where the money comes from is relevant, but not here. It's not on here.
Right. They took in about 10.
You got it right here,
There you
hold
go,
on.
boss.
We all have their numbers, it's all in their,
I even have the percentages for you.
It was more than 10.
Oh, it was like 17, I thought.
I was just trying to round down.
okay, here's,
It was $12. Park and Rec.
21,000, the last time Law ran this for us on February 24th, there was 21,000 in there.
Didn't you give us this number?
We did. Somewhere. Somebody gave us the number.
21,000.
This is the number you wanted.
Doctor.
Sure. Yeah, but they gave us a revenue breakdown, I know they did, of
Yeah.
where it came
Where it
from.
came from.
And the percentage increase.
A lot of it
And
was
because
parking.
I know I did the, well,
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah,
it was
It
was
like
less as
5
a
and 8,
percentage.
13 was parking, you know?
So anyway, the number's good, so you could see the,
Right, so, but some of that also deals with operations, because you're not, remember, if you're looking at their incremental costs, you're also looking at the capital and the operations. And what you did last year is you looked at all those new costs and you said half of those costs would be borne by their revolving and then the other half you took into the general fund.
Yes, that is correct. And that is still, I mean, it's still a valid way to do it.
Right.
And we told them that we wanted them to continue, as we continue to
become
spend money,
self-sufficient.
you know, to continue to improve the rentals of the fields and not rely as much on the parking for Rugged Maniac and the Nationals.
How about I throw out this, that will take care of the SCAG, grass collection system, and the backpack blower, and the rest comes out of the revolving. Because mulch should be, you know, something they should, a standard thing.
Yeah, their total bill is 7,500. That's what they're looking at. So take out
So
three.
get-
I mean,
So are you agreeing with the FinCom's three items, Russ?
no,
Or yours?
I'm agreeing with the first two.
First
and
two are yeses?
That's what I'm saying, because they're really items that we could use elsewhere too.
And then the others are no's.
That would be my thoughts.
Doug?
I don't disagree, it's along the way with the split. So if they really
Exactly.
want the ground push blower, they could buy it from
Yeah.
their revolving. And the grass collection system we could do this year. And I guess the blower while we're at it, right?
Right,
And then star the other two to come from their own revolving.
right,
So you have to continue to fund them here, but
right.
yeah.
But those two items they could also use on the rail trail, right? And
The
at
backpack
beach.
blower, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the backpack blower was more for the rail trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, I made a note, Wally, revolving account.
You guys are planning board, so you guys got to answer this one.
They-
Yeah, it's those big racks to hold the big prints.
Okay.
It's not the
Took care of that.
$29 units that,
Okay, next one, cruisers.
Yeah.
They're all standard. Right?
Yep.
yeah.
And he's doing that P25 thing too.
Oh,
The
yeah.
equipment he needs.
All right, so that's all.
He needs another taser. The radar pays for itself. Defibrillator.
As long as you don't use it on North Pond, 'cause- but yeah, it does pay for itself.
Stop it, yeah. And the school, I think they partnered on
Okay,
that.
all
Yeah.
these other ones, there's no numbers next to them, so those are just no's anyway. Okay, and then we,
Did she start singing like?
Now, if a
upon
certain
a
person
time.
was here, it's
yes, we were
rude.
gonna.
Oh, damn right.
Laura, what was the answer on the
Usually it was
HVAC roof design? It says 30,000,
I
but
thought it was
there's no
50.
FinCom disposition on that column? Was that a no? I think that was a no along with the feasibility
Feasibility study, yeah.
So that's a no there too. The first three are no's.
Okay.
Oh, they didn't want to
No.
get any tables for the lobby or auditorium?
No.
Okay. Ross, what's your,
Can we
Joe?
star the tables for the lobby and auditorium?
okay.
Just because,
There was some issue with the definition of that table.
Right, right.
I know that there was something wrong with that.
And then
And
the
I think-
paving,
I
that
think-
100,000, that was a no, because that's
Yeah.
gonna be part of the feasibility. The feasibility study, I think we all agreed at the budget hearing, when we met with Bob Johnson.
Yeah, we cringed.
Any issues
but,
with
yeah,
that?
Which one?
The feasibility for 50,000.
Of all municipal buildings?
Yeah. And that's also going to encompass all the stuff on the public safety building too. All those TBDs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And,
why we.
and Charlie's 150 and
DPW.
DPW's
Yeah.
$6 million. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess you made a good case on the copier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, grinder maintenance equipment, just to let you know, because this is capital, Laura and I had met today, and we do receive separate income from the Westfield Gas and Electric easement payments to the town. So there is some monies that come into an account that we appropriate out, because Those things, when town meeting accepted it, it earmarked it for capital-related items for sewer, because the sewer corridor
Was on
is
there.
right there with the gas corridor. And that was what town meeting decided. Anything that supports the corridor.
So that just goes back into our sewer revolving account?
It goes, well, it's not a revolving, it goes
Well-
into your sewer enterprise as a certain revenue source
Right.
For capital items.
for capital-related items.
Okay.
But, I mean, one time you bought the truck that patrols it, you bought that out of it.
Right.
So we do have revenue offsets that we're gonna plug into the budget, somewhere in the order of 30 or 40, right? I talked to you.
You're at 30. okay.
Yeah, this year's budget, you had 17 in it.
Right.
So we're saying yes to the first two and no to the grinder
Right.
pump repairs.
Note that the SCADA, it's carried under the under 25 twice, so, because he's carrying it in two separate places. Because he's got it in sewer and water.
One's a SCADA upgrades and one's a SCADA improvements.
He had his thesaurus out while he was doing his budget. I get it, but I'm just saying it's all part and parcel.
Right.
So
But,
So it's all the
it does
same?
need to
but
be
you
done.
do remember the SCADA system when it was first proposed
Oh yeah,
years ago was to save.
I was there.
Well, all
On
of this
man
stuff,
hours and
even the
overtime.
stupid water meters that we did, because we're gonna save 10% on our water bills. But then what was the fee that we had, 25,000 for the software
Oh,
a year?
You know,
It's not even a wash.
So, and then now we find out we still have to send the people out. We still have the overtime. So
The other thing that,
Meanwhile, back on the farm,
well, the other
Hi,
thing
Carl.
you don't have here is you still have the other pump station that's coming up that I put in front of you the other day.
yeah.
So what happens is that could be as much as 1.7 million. So I've asked to make sure that the water rate review study is gonna be done, because you're out 5 or 6 years.
Oh, I know, it
Your
doesn't end, no.
Your retained earnings
Yeah,
are going down,
I know.
and what will need to happen is, I would not be inclined to have the
Going off the
board-
grid.
I would not be inclined to have the board make an award or sign a contract for the water line construction, which was authorized at 3.26 million, until the water study is done and the water rates are voted on and increased. They can still start the design on it, they
Yeah.
can still do the other pump station, because they have to get off of, the Springfield water is gonna require them to tie in, you know, to have that other pump station up there that's gonna be able to chlorinate.
Yeah, I think the pump station's
So
more
that's gonna have
important
to
than the
hap-
water line
so
right
that- So
now.
that's exactly what the order is that needs to happen because of that, because the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission is not gonna give the water commissioners locally, you know, an opportunity. So we're gonna end up having to leapfrog this thing and hold off on a considerable amount of the other thing until those things get sorted out, the costs get improved, and the water rate structure gets revisited and is put in place to accrue the necessary revenues to make the debt service payments and replenish the retained earnings. Everybody clear on that?
I mean, I got a twitch now, but yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the pump station comes first.
And Laura, you concur with that?
Sure she does.
Oh, I went over it.
well, we
I've gone
Yeah.
over it.
we brought it up during the
Oversight.
budget hearing. And we
Oh, no,
talked
it's-
to the
yeah.
chairman.
Yeah.
You know, and he was receptive to having Ty and Bond come in, and
And they are,
Start-
and
start that
the director is
process.
the director is facilitating that.
so now it's a case where we really need to do it.
Right. But the net result is you'll have to, you know, delay any major expenditure coming out of that other authorization.
Right.
I just hope we can get it done before the state redoes that northern section of College Highway.
Well,
I think
Because they're
we'll be
gonna
fine.
probably start it next year,
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll be fine.
yeah.
as soon
I
as they
don't-
get that money back from the state troopers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's gonna be Memorial Highway, I heard. State Trooper Retirement Fund. That's what I heard. No speed limit. Tickets are free.
I believe the director gave you an update on the
I know, it's
phases.
not even in the next 5
Yeah.
years.
Okay, so, I don't think you'll
I was
have
being a little facetious.
get the thesaurus out. So that's the thing that
$3.
also factors into these other things you have before you. So is there any issues with these other items?
No.
No,
So we're saying yes on all the water ones?
Yeah.
yes.
But you may want to make that, when you meet with the FinCom, contingent upon the water rate study being done and completed.
They're gonna have to do that, and the same thing with start sitting down with the sewer boys too, right? Because we're carrying a big chunk of that on the tax rate that needs to get eventually resolved.
I don't think it ever will though, if we.
Well, we can't get a project
Right. Can't
off
get
the
anything.
ground to get more people on the sewers, so we're carrying the interceptor essentially on the tax rate.
You are, but Laura and I were talking, that all drops off, well, not all of that, but the treatment plant cost shares that we had to make on their debt service with the Water Pollution Abatement Trust is not our debt service. We pay into it as an IMA expense. That will fall off in the next 5 to 6 fiscal years. There were 4 separate amortization schedules.
Right around the
Fantastic.
corner.
Yeah, coming right up.
So, however, having said that, your rate structure that's going to be going up on the sewers bill that Westfield sends us over a 6-year period. That, as you can see, that's already been preordained and voted with as a
Right.
series of increases. That's what they're now using, the rate structure, to do their capital improvements. So you're not going to have any other separate IMA charges like you did at the outset when you signed the document. And at some point, you're also going to need to sign a successor IMA.
Well, just for clarification, there's no single member of this board that ever signed that original document.
Oh, that was former member Welch.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just make it perfectly clear for the
And you're
record.
gonna have to check the number of years, because.
Yeah. I think it's 2024. You would think some of it might be even a little earlier?
No, I'm thinking it might be a little later.
I'll
Double
bet you,
check
I'll
it.
bet you so.
Sounds like
I'm
neither
sure
of us are
you're-
gonna have to worry
Wanna
about
make a
being
bet?
on signing the successor one either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so that's that part. So do you want to go back and revisit these things here? Or you want to go on to the operational or personnel request sheets?
Operational. Let's get it done.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
Keep moving.
Pull out.
I mean, like a
We're
pizza
starting at
coma.
animal control.
Woof.
No,
about-
operational.
Oh,
Operation-
That's
okay.
Yeah.
conservation. Oh, here's a ground ball. Russ, why don't you take this one? Conservation.
Which?
Conservation. It's the
Oh,
first one on my list.
File
no,
cabinet?
Which one are we going to? This one?
No,
The-
let's see, that one right there.
Conservation?
Yes,
Conservation's
yep,
first.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. The first thing I'm gonna say is,
Couldn't they just use their revolving account, Carol, to buy something like this?
apparently they have,
Revolving for that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, they have a revolving account.
then let's just remove all this. That would be my recommendation.
Okay, for we-
Just put down use Concom revolving.
Oh, what's the same now?
Now, when we get to their budget, that's what I'm going to propose, this one.
Gotcha.
So you want them to use their revolving for that minor?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, Joe, and then we get to channel 15, and that's more estimates where we need to have the resources in there to make sure that we can pay Peter Cowles, so some of
No,
these
I
different line
understand.
items will
Yeah.
be. So, and that's gonna come out of that other fund source. Any concerns there?
No.
Because, you know, when Laura puts together the revenue and expenditure sheet, and you've got the different parts where you've got all your expenditures, and then you got and you can wanna make sure you have offsetting revenues.
Yep.
So this will balance out. We're gonna make sure the cable one balances out. It's not gonna be like EMS, which still has a
Right.
public subsidy.
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have any effect on the tax rate. 'cause
Right.
it's- Yeah.
Okay?
Council on Aging's okay? DPW highway pesticides, not pesticides, herbicides.
Yes, it
Make
was
sure we
herbicide
change
Should that
to
say herbicides?
Yes, that's a big difference.
for licensure, right?
Well, they're just pesticide scares people. Herbicides isn't so scary.
Is it just?
Unless your name is Herb.
Right. But no, that's, let's face it, we're not doing the sides of the roads like we should. You need to use herbicides, just like Granby's using them, just like Westfield.
Right, and that's what your director's recommending.
Good.
So
Okay.
you're gonna support it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this contracts and agreements, this was movement of stuff
From,
from your request originally, right? Some of this was moving some stuff around.
it was from the fire, it was the fire department's request, but it was originally in the fire department's budget, and they wanna move, it's really EMS related contracts,
Yep.
and they wanna move it there.
Yep.
Right, so he eliminated it from
Yeah,
the fire
fire.
side.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Monthly charges for security at Weirgate.
yep, that's the wireless connectivity,
Right.
so they can monitor their gates.
Yeah, but he was talking about they had vandalism problems. Can we
Right,
just,
and these are the cameras.
I know. I'm just saying, we got cameras everywhere now. We're going broke with cameras, aren't we?
Well, I think they're on those loop lines. I don't think I don't think this is being, I don't think you have a whole screen of TVs in the dispatch.
Right, so it's $50 a month is what they're saying roughly, right? 12
Yeah.
months
It was $500.
a year.
A year.
Oh, monthly charges, yes, so $60 a month.
Yeah. 40, 250, 45. What is it?
Yeah, it's $42.
Yeah, it's
Not
either
bad,
this or
still got
unless you
it.
think it's an LMC related.
No,
charge.
it's a cell phone. It's gotta be a cell
Right.
uplink.
Right.
Yeah, but can't they take that out of the revolving?
You could make a note of that. They might
mean,
look at that, I mean, these weir gates,
It's,
they might look at that as a water level issue and not something connected to the boat ramp. See, because they do
Well,
take
if-
other
if-
charges for the boat ramps out of
if
the
they
boat
have
ramp.
a problem with vandalism or the level of the lake, it should come out of that.
Or even out of LPP,
Right.
because it's certainly part of that.
Your LPP account just brings in enough money to administer it, do its printing, do its secretarial stuff, do all the patrols. So that is not because you don't have 100% compliance with all.
Well, we're gonna improve that, but this is certainly
is
falls under
security.
security and patrols for
Right.
the LPP.
you know.
We need to improve the participation from our neighbors to the south.
Right. I'd like to see it come out of the revolving account, and hopefully we're gonna have a productive meeting next week.
So which account would you
Just
want
create
to,
another
LMC revolving?
Yeah.
Or LPP. He I can't actually make him shake his head no. I got 3 letters that can make him shake his head. Watch this, LPP. See?
Isn't that song You and Me, LPP?
Well,
I understand what you're saying, but the way I
thinking
read the
LPP?
LPP, I think they could do it.
okay.
If we get the money to do it. We have to
Right.
get the money to do it, but I think from
I
a
know.
standpoint of how the LPP reads you
Look,
could do
as
it.
far, they won't, if you're,
Still shaking his
if
head.
you're coming up with the dollars from another cost center, they'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have an issue with that.
Just paying.
Right. Right.
I just wanted you to be aware that, you had quite a,
Get an email tomorrow.
meeting recently, and people's concerns were making sure that you were gonna have enough patrols on the lake. So you don't wanna be short there, that's all.
All right.
I understand that.
They're never
So-
gonna patrol it enough.
Joe, there's a microwave in the other room?
Nah, I like cold pizza. Just missing a cold beer with it.
Yeah, but let's face it, we're not gonna patrol the lakes 24/7. That's
Never
never
gonna
gonna
do it.
happen.
Nope.
And
Even
we
with a
have
free
a
boat.
problem
You don't even
with
do the
people
roads
not
24/7.
registering their docks on the Connecticut side, okay?
Yeah.
And they should be contributing. It's just like them going into a state park in Massachusetts. They would pay, all right? And that lake is like a state park. And they should be contributing, and that money could be used for additional patrols and for
Right,
things
but-
like this.
But the LPP fund source is for the docks, it's coming from the docks, it's not coming from the launch fees.
I understand that. That's
I just want you to
but
know
my
that. That's
point
what
exactly.
There's two different issues, you're talking about two different points of origin on how the money's collected and for why.
Okay. I got it, because those docks are in Massachusetts, as much as those people get their mail in Connecticut, right? So, and the patrols are for the lake, the weirs maintain the water in the lake.
Yep.
The lake would be not very useful if it were empty,
True. Thank you.
I guess, right? Yeah. We just kicked crap out of that $500. All right, so now we got, now Park and Rec wants 16,400 for lawn care.
What did we do last year?
This is new operations line.
Well,
What did we do last
they
year?
did it last year, though. They did.
Yeah, we did something. Hang on.
Yeah.
That's why this goes back to the other thing, you had shared some of the expenses last year.
Well, we already did that up here, on the capital side.
You did it on capital and,
On operations.
you did on,
I think we deducted the electric or something like that.
yeah, let me see what I got here.
We covered their water is what we did last year, if I remember.
Well, you
It
had done
helped
a
them with
fif-
the wells.
You did the 50,000 for the wells as a one-time thing, and it paid for itself within a year.
Yes.
So that was a great deal. That's probably one of the best things we've ever done in terms of Park and Rec. Okay, so here's the, if you go to this sheet here, Doug, on the page 15, you'll see what's been in and what was done and for operations for the park.
It's getting smaller, or my eyes are getting worse.
Does anybody need me to go get him a magnifying glass?
Lawn care, 0.
And then they're funding, yeah, so it is a new line.
No, they did something last year, though. They did it.
They
I don't
may
know
have
how.
already
Out of their other
Revolving.
Or is that the
They're-
end of the, was that the end of the Kickstart money from,
No.
That's been going for
I think,
a
no,
while.
Kelly had done that in a few years earlier, but I
Yeah.
think, I can't tell you if there was any of this done last year, but there were other operational things where they did use their account. You know, that might have been like the lining of the fields, you know what I mean? There may have been other, like other types of,
No, they probably
operations.
went out and got a quote from True Green or somebody for fertilizer, lime, and reseeding. You know,
right?
remember John?
Overseeding.
John was talking about he went with his tractor and bought the seed and
Yeah,
did
he's
all that.
doing it. Yeah, they're
So
doing
he was
it.
doing it. So this is probably they got a quote because these are similar prices of what we pay at the rec center. You know, so that's what this probably is. Well, I'm just gonna say that.
And then the Eversource bill, they've already been paying that all along, so I'm not sure why that would be coming out onto, remember, that's already been paid all
All
along?
I'm gonna say is, park was proposed, it was gonna be self-sufficient, it was gonna collect revenue, it wasn't gonna cost the taxpayers any money. So, I'm gonna say, they made the statement, God bless you, let's see how you do.
Okay, there's one person. What did the others say?
Okay.
I wanna know how they did it last year, because they did something on those
They
fields
did.
last year.
I know they did.
So how did they fund it last year?
Had to be
Well,
the
we could
revolving
start that,
account.
and Laura
I
could,
can
Laura can
go
ask
look,
Kara.
I
and-
can see if
She could go back and
Yeah,
look in
come
the
out of
cost
the-
centers.
revolving,
Might have come out of the revolving.
All right, so we'll
because we
start
sent
that
some
one.
stuff back to the revolving, I just
How
can't
last
remember.
year?
We have to, we have to use that. I mean, I don't know what they're, yeah, I get it.
Okay. Now, the electric was paid by them last year, so I don't, that's showing up now as a new expense. So you just need to make up your mind, you want to take it on as a general fund expense, or do you want to leave it for the?
But that's the
under
electric to
revolving?
turn the lights on.
It's for the demand charge, right.
Right. So
They need to
I can't have
increase the-
taxpayers pay for a demand charge for someone to rent a field from Holyoke.
No. They gotta continue to increase the utilization such that they spread that demand charge further.
So I sense,
So that'd be my opinion's no on
No,
it.
it's a no.
I already told you mine.
okay.
And that's partially my fault, because I did go to them and say, it costs you $5,000 for those X amount of months, so let's up your fee to rent the field 100, which would have been 2,500, and you could have then dropped that down, and then, you could have, the guys that wanted night games, it wouldn't be 1,000 for a demand charge, and then the second guy gets it for free. Maybe
Right,
we
right.
can make it 500 and, spread out the wealth and yada, 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 and I don't think it got far.
Right.
But I had it all,
In other words, if they,
I had your Etch-a-Sketch thing going too.
And I even had the electric company executives come in and meet with them and explain to them how the whole process
Yeah.
works. And I think it's $1,000 every month for that
Yeah.
first turn on.
Yeah, it's every calendar month.
At the,
Right.
Or whatever your meter period is,
Yeah.
right?
Every, yeah.
my friends at the ski lodge, it's 10 grand.
Their demand?
Per month?
Demand per month.
What?
Yeah, when they click on that snowmaking equipment,
Wow.
10,000.
Why is it so much more for them? Because it's based on their overall demand when they
It's
do use
gotta
it?
be for those limited months, and it's just all that snow.
Holy cow.
It's 10 grand. That was one of the reasons why they clicked not opening. Because the next day it was 10 grand, or we just don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's everywhere.
No, I know everyone gets it, and
Yeah,
it
it's
is
scary.
based on your bill, but,
That makes it hard to, you know,
well, that's
yeah.
why you
Yeah.
can't have something in, like you can't have night games in like March, because there may be
Yeah.
snow on the field, or may not, or whatever.
Right.
And then, so you turn it on the 28th, and that one group takes the whole charge, and
Yeah,
the
look
other
at the-
park
the-
takes the hit.
Right.
Look at opening day. The Yankees couldn't even play at home.
Yeah.
Of a snowstorm.
Right.
Just
Imagine that
think-
demand charge?
Just thinking, maybe we shouldn't have put up the other lights until we found out everything. With the first set of lights.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Well, you
not
still
gonna
have,
end.
there's still a set of parking lot lights to go up, but that'll have to wait till the closeout is done on the first phase with
That
J
should
and L
have been the
construction.
first thing to go up, because wasn't that part of the order of conditions from the planning board?
Yeah.
So that should have been the first thing to
And then-
go up.
Doug, was that a special permit or a site plan approval?
Site plan
Wasn't it all
approval,
after
but
the
there was
fact?
conditions on it. But you also gotta look at it, and those lights may or may not affect the demand charge too. We'd have to
I don't
figure all
think
that
they-
out.
Yeah, I don't think they would have.
Because they're on a different
The
meter.
streetlights, I don't
You-
think they'd
Who's
be
paying
just
for those? The
looking-
town, right? So which meter are those on?
Well, no, it still may be their meter.
Right.
But is it different meter than the lights?
Yeah.
Maybe they need to look at that too. I know it's probably handy dandy to have a meter for the lights just to measure it, but if they have the parking lot lights are coming on every night anyway, maybe then the demand charge wouldn't be so brutal if they only had 1 meter.
True.
They should look at that math, and what's the
Right.
cost of combining all those meters to one? Yeah, it's an accounting headache, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're taking a penalty because they have a meter for the lights that they don't use all
Right,
the time.
infrequency.
But if the lights are on all the time on the street lights
parking.
and we're paying that bill, maybe it would smooth out the demand charge for them overall. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure at Wally, there's no, it's like you say, 1 meter coming in for that building,
The
your
whole
parking
building.
lot, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the whole thing.
So you're right, you're absolutely
And
right.
we've seen it, we've seen the demand charge in other areas, when we had that hurricane and we were without power for a week, we got nailed on the gas demand charge because we don't usually use gas in the summer months, but then we used a ton of it running the generators for a
Sure,
week,
sure.
and we got $5,000 or $6,000 in demand charge
Right.
for the gas. So, but in the winter months, the demand charge is there, but it's not as huge because you're expected to use that
Right.
gas. So maybe that's something to look at down the
Yeah.
road for them. I don't know.
Okay. Yep, make a note of that.
I don't know.
It's an interesting-
Maybe somebody
yeah, it's
would
an
know
avenue to
better
look
than
at.
me, right?
Yeah.
It's nice that we have a meter so that you could tie the cost directly to the rentals of when they lighted the fields. Blah blah.
I think
blah.
that's what it was all about, yeah.
But if it's going to cost you 10 grand to figure that out, that's probably not the best approach.
Yeah. True.
So anyway, we're not going
I can ask them.
we're not going to carry the lights anyway.
Doug, I can ask the electric company.
Yep, be a great one to ask too, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a nice answer.
Okay.
Backflow.
Okay, HVAC repairs, that's all part of the other
Study,
feasibility
and
studies.
then the water was a backflow inspection.
Mhm.
Why are? I don't remember.
It's 5,000, but there's a fee for that anyways, which goes back in the general fund.
Yeah, they charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to the general fund.
It goes back to
goes
the
into
water, it's the
retained-
enterprise fund.
Water
Sorry,
revenue.
Right. And same with the fee, the backflow inspection fee comes out of the water, right?
No, but why is there a sudden expense on backflow inspection as a fee? Is that because we're gonna hire a third-party guy, right? We're not gonna have a town employee do it. That's what it was.
Right.
Right.
Now I remember.
He
Yeah.
switched it from being.
So this will be covered by the the income from it, so.
Right,
Right,
there's,
that's what I
the
was-
money's there. the
I understand,
outside
but
grant, but
Yes.
he's
Not all of
switched
these
it.
have that funding source behind it, right?
No.
Yeah.
Right, generally-
Used to be a nice older gentleman that was doing it, then the plumbing
Right,
inspector was
Tommy
doing it.
Ryan,
Yeah.
Super nice guy,
Right.
yes. Yeah, Mr. Ryan.
okay.
All right,
What,
so-
the AMI system?
Yeah, remember, he originally had that as a capital item, and then when we had the discussion with him, it was gonna be more of a hosting fee to
For the new meters.
deal with the meters and regulate them and monitor the, all the data that goes through them.
Mm-hmm.
Laserfish.
Doesn't have a microfiche.
Oh, I see. Now you're talking about now I get it. Now the next one would be the new position.
Yes.
Now that's the
Mr.
blue one at
Clerk.
the top.
You know, Laura, under the animal control one here, under the per diem people, how much are you showing being expended under animal callouts or per diems? What do we call that line item? Animal fees or what?
Assistant fees?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is
Okay.
that tracking in terms of what the balance has been appropriated and the amount expended? Because I know the police chief over the last 4 years instituted new policies that regulated that and was making sure that they
You're right,
weren't
it's
being
9.
called out as much.
900.
Yeah, it hasn't,
It
if you
hasn't.
look back.
So is,
They haven't
in
been
other words,
Using the full amount.
right, so
Yeah.
how much, is there savings there that could be potentially looked at for
Yeah.
reprogramming here
You
to
could.
Hasn't.
a
Yeah.
net number?
Yeah,
How much is in the
probably.
account?
They, year to date, so far, they've spent 900. The year before was 1,620
and what's-
out of
and what's the-
$3,600.
3,600.
3,600 is what's appropriated?
Yeah, 36.
So even if
Some
you put it to
change.
2,000,
Right.
you'd pick up 1,600, but
Right, so you could lower one line item and then you could, you know, that's fun here or just.
That's, what is this the Agawam piece at all?
No,
What are they paying us?
10,000.
Well,
And 2
Right.
tickets to Six Flags.
what I don't understand is, she came in and said she can't take vacation, can't take time out. What we do is we look at things in a regional approach. When our building inspector is out,
Yep.
we get Westfield inspector to do the inspection, he does and helps them out. You know, our ag one or something like that. Why aren't we working with
Well, this-
Westfield when she needs to take time out?
we're not a party with Westfield. They have a separate agreement with other communities. Because what's different here is we run our own shelter. It's not a question of someone just coming in and going out on a call. The person needs to clean the place. This is very labor intensive.
Right, but we,
So you'd be better off reviewing it as a floater position
a floater position, or
to come
we
in for
have.
3 or 4 weeks a year, just for the 3 or 4 weeks a year.
Right, but we also have volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
right? We established that,
Right,
and their job was to do the cleaning
right, but they're,
and care of the animals. And then, I still don't see why we couldn't work out an agreement with Westfield or another neighboring community. that
well, our
have
agreement's
their
with
dog-
Agawam.
Would be Agawam, yeah.
It would be Agawam.
Do they, but, okay, they have an
We
animal
board their
control
animals.
officer.
Yeah, they
We
have
board
their
their,
own.
So
we
why,
board their
why
animals,
can't they fill in when she's on vacation?
you know.
All right, and have your volunteers that are doing that, and put in a nominal amount of money if you want for a floater position.
Well, is that what she's, I mean, so it's $13 an hour for assistant animal control times 6,700 is how much? How many hours? Let's see, where's my math guy?
Or 6,700 divided by 13?
Yeah, 6,700 divided by 13. 60 divided by 13 is 520 hours.
Yeah, so if you were,
It's like 10, that's
That's
10 hours a week.
So that's 10 hours a week.
So couldn't you just use the money that's already in the other account and just say, when you go on vacation, bring a substitute in to cover you
Correct.
for
Right.
those 2 or 3 weeks? And if they can't do it, then use the Agawam person.
There you go. So what do you wanna cut it down to?
I'm not sure you have to have anything there if you've
cut it
got
in
a
half.
surplus in the other.
Well, I would take
You
the
look
other
at it this way,
surplus,
you take
You're
it as
saying they
half.
got it in the other account?
take that surplus, put it in there for now.
And it does it, because if you take
1600.
8 hours, it's 64 days. Right?
Right.
Am I doing that right?
Yeah, put the 1,600.
64 divided by $13 is 500 and something,
Right.
515-ish.
Yep.
And then you divide that by an 8-hour day,
And then
64 days. So she could take her vacation, she could do what,
I agree with
Right,
you.
I don't think you need to budget it for 64 days, probably
that's what I'm
30 would
saying,
be enough,
that's
you
why I
know.
said half. Right,
Right.
is 32 days, which is more than enough for what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
So put in the 1,600?
No, you take half of 6,700.
Okay, that's where you're at, okay.
Okay.
I think.
Right, and then
And it's still
some of
bring,
that could be offset by the savings that Laura could reduce
Right.
the other line.
reduce the
item
other
by.
one to 2,000, so there's 1,600 of that
Right.
3.
Yeah.
So
Right.
then we're up, right,
So it's- Right.
got it.
So what are you saying,
so
Joe,
we're
32?
doing-
Yeah, so put 32 in there, lower the other one down to 2,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so we're doing
Cost us
32,
about a Gino, $1,200.
so 3,200 or,
Yes,
okay.
lower the other one to 2 grand.
And then the one, the assistance
Yeah.
fees, that's already there, down
Yeah,
to
down to
2.
2 grand. Selectmen's account, give us each a $5 a year. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Illinois. I thought you were punching away, I was getting excited.
Yeah,
I wanna break
trying
that
to-
$90 a week, I'm out, that's, damn it. And that's before taxes.
And retirement.
Yeah, I think I got my thing, I got like 6 years in, I'm at 10, no, Art Pennell gets 10 cents, I think, after 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right, I'm gonna go no, except for the fire inspector. Moving things right along right now.
hold
Did you
on.
just run down the list?
Yep.
You said no to Board of Health. Channel 15, yeah, we've already talked about that.
No,
audio
and
thing.
we worked that out. At least
Yeah.
on the
I
the
thought-
part of it with the audio meetings should be a net 0 increase
Right,
in
to the-
hours. We
Okay,
will-
so you don't,
I will
I
bring the
thought you were
resource.
thinking there was gonna be some hours there.
we will. I will bring the resources needed to make
Okay,
that happen.
that's
at
fine.
0.
Okay,
And conservation, we figured out they can charge back to whatever construction project that they're worried about.
well, no, they have a revolving account.
Okay. So that goes away.
What about the Board of Health Secretary?
Ooh,
Russ,
You guys are
you
right.
jumped on that one?
I said no to everything except the fire.
Because remember they had Tommy's thing in there and they were gonna go,
And that's another issue I wanna bring up before we leave tonight.
okay, so everything else is, except for the inspector.
what about where we are with the treasurer clerk?
Definitely no.
That was that, yeah, when that part-time thing, yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Right, she did give you another
That
letter
dust
on that
hasn't
too.
settled.
But she said she would work with us and.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
understood the finances this year.
Yep.
No. 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 Why is this on there twice, the fire inspector?
Oh, I was just looking at that going, wonder what I was thinking.
Inspector
You
need to
said
talk
no
to
on
chief.
this.
I
But
may
I
have-
think that, on the fire side, that's a policy and an organizational thing under him, and if you look at that line item is being funded partially from inspection fees and partially from other fund sources.
Right,
So,
so it shouldn't even be in there.
well, it is a new line item, and it is a salary expense, but this doesn't reflect any increases or sorry, any decreases in salary expenses elsewhere that he's bringing to the table to
Correct.
fund that.
So we'll do that when we go through here.
We can.
Right.
Suppose, I don't know.
It's a star.
It's a s-
Want to
Okay.
change it to a star?
Starry, starry night.
They were beautiful in Arizona.
They are, aren't they? With the snow on the mountains. I spent a lot of time in Tucson
Oh, okay.
at the gem shows out
Yeah,
there.
all I got was a
Okay, yeah.
picture
Yeah,
sent
they
to
had
me,
the
that's all I
gems
saw.
on Portside.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are
Lots.
beautiful.
yeah. I mean, you got shorts on with a sweater, and everybody else is all bundled up like it's gonna snow. Yeah. Where are you from, New England? Can't you tell because I work for a living?
All right, so we did those 3 sheets, so now we have the other one, right, Laura? We're gonna go into,
Now we go through the budget,
yep,
the general fund.
General fund.
The moderator's really raking it in.
We want to start that? No?
No, I think
All
we'll
right.
let that slide for tomorrow.
so Laura has put into the document anything that relates to the COLA and market adjustments that you've made for fiscal year 18, and then any base building issues, as well as anything that you've done for fiscal 19 agreements. Union agreements, everything. It's, you have the library numbers in there, right?
Yep.
And she's carrying for DPW, which is in the final stages of being examined.
Roger.
So, is there any questions on page 1?
Hold on.
Yeah, who's the field driver?
Was that Herb Pace?
No, he was the fence viewer.
He's
He's
the
the
fence
fence viewer,
viewer.
that I know. Who's
Was
the
it
field?
John Andrews?
No,
Never
he's the
mind.
Graves officer.
Never
Yeah.
mind.
Field driver used to be Charlie Wolf, but he's been dead now for quite a few years.
That's why we haven't expended the budget for the
Right.
last 4
And
years.
Tony
we're carrying
Schiavelli
it.
was before.
Should say in the
before
field,
Charlie
now.
Wolf.
Should say in the
And
field.
Tony Schiavelli's been dead for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Before then, Mr. Hambert, he's
So-
been dead for quite a few
So
years.
what name would you like to put there? Because he ain't gonna last.
I don't know anybody that goes there.
Yeah.
Well,
I put in 0, so,
Well, there you go.
I
Mr.
don't think
Zero's
anybody
next.
wants to volunteer to be the field driver. It
Yeah,
doesn't end
'cause-
well.
no.
can we actually eliminate that line item? I mean, can we just eliminate it?
Yes, I think we shall.
Russ?
Even if we had it there, it's just an honorary position at this point. Because
So you can eliminate it. Otherwise, I was gonna think about TJ Welch. I mean, you've made.
Well, you know
Wow, you really hate him
Well,
that
yeah.
much, huh?
No, you
Just
made him the
named
truant officer
But he
one
named
year.
him. You just named 8 dead guys,
He did, right, I didn't.
Well, the new movie.
and then you threw TJ's name right out there.
What's the Walking
Only
Dead,
because
but-
the board has, the board made him the truant officer one time.
Well, he knew where all the kids go to hide.
Right.
Let's just leave that alone. All
Are we
right.
on page 1, John?
everything looks good on page 1.
Hold on, we're getting there.
Okay, I'm not. Okay.
Okay. Flip it over.
Ooh, flip it over.
Conserving people.
Page
Oh,
2, we
flip and
lowered,
turn.
Lower the
we
wage
lowered the reserve,
negotiation.
right, because you have more contracts that you're gonna have under contract now.
We're gonna have less under contract.
You're right, that's what I mean, you have
Yeah.
more, well, you have more
Gotcha.
under contract,
Yes.
so that you have, so you need less. money.
Understood, understood.
Do we even need to keep it at 85, Carl?
Well, I was gonna have Laura double check that number, her and Carol could run some other numbers if we get
Can we
these,
just
If you get other
star
things
that?
in.
if we
Yeah,
get
Because
some,
I think-
if we get some of these more recent ones done,
Right,
we may be able to lower that
over
some.
that a little bit.
So Laura, we could, you and your staff could run some numbers,
Yep.
and then we could see what
See
that
what-
looks like.
Okay.
Okay, the other stuff, Scanlon, that's pretty straightforward, the assessors, that's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are we going on to page 3 or am I
Yep,
pushing
I'm on
it?
three.
Hold on. Oh, no.
And then, and you know, remember, a lot of the things you're gonna see again, you've already made decisions on any of the red lines. You've already said your yeses or no on them.
Understood.
So you should be able to go through those ones quicker. Although on page 3, I did want to raise to your issue, maybe we should think about the legal ads being a little higher, because we have had to do supplemental transfers through the FinCom, which is the middle of page 3, where it says trending higher under in the right-hand column.
Yep. How much would you suggest?
Well, Laura, is that the number you had chosen, right? We're a little more than the 68, well, let's see, we're
Okay.
at,
Right now.
if you look at the other years, Russ, we're at 84, then we're at 83.
And this year we're at.
We-
Well,
Seven.
was-
You just did another transfer
Was
recently.
that due to Congamon Road?
No, that's due to all
No,
the
that-
hearings you've been having in,
Just
Yeah.
all the hearings?
right,
Okay.
public notifications,
Okay.
hearings,
Yeah.
mailings.
The,
Oh, plus newspaper ads, a lot of
Yes.
recruitments.
Yeah.
So you could either leave it at 7290, or you could, you know, arrive upon some other number based upon the fiscal year 17 and 16 numbers, about 83 to 8400.
Why don't we put in 8,500?
the part-time staff for clerical, that's, what is that? The 15,213.
Yeah, that's the one you already
Someone-
eliminated earlier on this
Okay.
other sheet, Joe.
So red means it's gone?
No, red
Red
means
You're carrying,
Red
it, so you
means-
should cross it off.
it's
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
there until you made these decisions here.
Gotcha.
So you've already taken care of it in this
Okay.
document.
All right.
I'm going along.
did it-
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I'm just,
See, they cross-reference.
I'm slower than the average bear, so.
Okay. So Russ is suggesting 8,500 for the legal ads.
Yes,
Doug?
seems reasonable.
Joe? Is that code for something?
Well, I'm not yelling
Okay, I'm not yelling.
or swearing, so I guess it's okay.
Okay. And then everything else is pretty much level funded, right? If
Yeah.
there's no changes to it? Right? Except for, you know, adjustments, wage adjustments. So that was 3.
Are we doing the rest of the, I just saw elections, are we doing the rest of the tables, or where were we with all the voting booths and all that stuff?
No, she's gonna wait till next year.
Okay,
There's no.
yeah, just
Well,
one.
no, the booths are being recruited, but the machines.
The machines was the
The
other part of that
machines will
project,
be,
right?
right, will be coming up in the future.
There you go.
And don't forget, you have 3 elections coming up this fiscal year,
Yeah,
19,
We took that
right? You got a
out.
primary. And then you got the
took that
national
out.
elections. And then you have your local a year
you're
from May.
local.
Which I think that's when you,
No, that's this guy.
What?
not this May, the other May.
Oh, the other May? Yeah, that'll be me, all right.
Okay, page 4.
I'm excited.
Page 4,
Any questions?
conservation.
You already
Minute.
decided that on this sheet.
So those
So
are,
once you've already decided on the sheet, you just.
Yeah, but I'm talking about reducing the budget,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Hold on now.
Because based on this, now that I know they're talking about they're spending money out of a grant, but they're still talking about paying someone, you know? Which I don't think they have the authority to enter into any agreement anyways, but,
Well, that can, now that you have that document, you can, your office can notify them about how a contract works.
right. But apparently, if they feel they have this money that they can expend.
Well,
then
Laura, the town accountant's gonna look at those the letter that cites these other sources.
Okay.
She'll determine if the money
Well,
does
then
exist.
I would star land maintenance,
Land maintenance.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be suggesting reducing it by $1,000.
Do you wanna wait till next week's meeting with the FinCom till we get the answers to these questions?
You're right, I'm just,
Yes.
would suggest starring it
Okay.
now.
You're writing all this down, Laura, all these things we're telling you to do?
And then he annotated.
Well, you got the tape recorder to go back now, that's good.
I'm trying to make good notes.
Oh, you're making, With the computer you can't get into later? That one? Okay, just wanna make
For
sure.
the, yes.
Can we get a breakdown on the full thing on this land maintenance?
I'd like to see where it all went last year.
Every single dime where it went.
Where-
Right, that's the account detail.
Coat detail. There you go.
Because they're underspending it too,
Yeah.
by $1,000.
Yeah,
I'm looking at 57
Yeah.
and 4, 57 and 47.
and we gotta find out what what monies they're using on the revolving account and these balance of a grant account. Does Laura have the copy of this letter?
She will.
No, that's why I mentioned I was gonna give it to her. We just all got here.
Okay.
We're all good.
So,
Carrying on.
okay.
Any other questions on page 4?
No, I don't see anything.
No.
On page 5.
Russ is on page 13.
Yeah.
He's got this covered.
On page 5, we have also under computer salary, we had to accommodate for Jim Middleton's union contract benefits under longevity and the ability to have overtime for call-ins for computer-related issues. Because it was,
You lowered
Yeah.
the longevity under
The
the
accounting
accounting
side.
salary.
right, so
That's
she
what
did
he
do a
was getting
corresponding
paid for.
adjustment on
Yeah.
the accounting side.
Do we get a lot of problems that has to be called in for?
No, that's why it's a small number.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a nominal number.
Because if we're close, who would call?
Okay, and then you got assessor server, you already mentioned that one down there. You already ruled out the part-time employee for maintenance there, so that's, again, these all tie in. Joe, you're on page 12?
I am on page 5. So are we short a part-time employee for maintenance, or what was that theory there?
I think, Bobby wants to be able to have people help him more from a maintenance point of view sometimes than from a custodial. So
Oh,
he could still use the part-time money he has account to do both. And now that he's got a new individual who's doing custodial work, but he's also very handy from a maintenance point of view.
gotcha.
So that is something he wants you to think about going forward.
No, I understand.
In fact, I was wondering maybe at some point about reevaluating that position and making it a hybrid, where part of it would be a maintenance rate person, and then part of it would just be the custodial rate person.
Right.
So I was gonna talk to you guys about that at a future date,
And do we still have
but
some
that can
kind
still
of
happen within the part-time.
overlapping
concept.
when it comes to the janitorial? Is there a
Yep.
overlap a little bit here and there?
Yep.
So eventually that'll work its way out.
Well, we have some floating, because don't forget, one of the things we've had to do in the last 2 years is we had to start making sure that we used Bob's staff to do the trash at Wally Park, in the buildings and
Yes,
outside,
yes, I
because the
recall.
groundskeepers aren't doing that.
Right.
So,
Right, we gotta take care of that.
and that
trash.
became an issue because the individuals up there in the board was not doing that function, and the board said, get it done.
Oh, no,
So
absolutely.
No,
we
no, no,
had
no,
to
we're
send
good.
our-
It's all
That's
good.
fine. It's all fine.
Hey, are the porta potties coming back this year?
For,
Because I looked on their.
For the rail trail?
Yeah, their whole program is not there.
they
So we-
should be, that, the Board of Health regulates that.
Yeah, but when they didn't have them last year, me and you took care of that.
Well, in
So-
one place, and I even gave them the cost center from
I
from
know.
a grant and said, this is where you can pay for the one you don't have out there yet.
So amongst all the other duties we give you, even though I'm your
get it.
aide, can we look into that? Just
You
go-
did say that. I can't believe he
Yes.
said that in front of all the state reps and senators.
Well, next year that's gonna be at malicious anyways. We ain't gonna have it over there.
And the food will be better.
And the food will be better. But we gotta look at,
The lining up of the porta potties.
just to make sure, because
Yeah.
we don't need those phone calls when we get a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
warm days.
And when
You
should they
know,
be out?
someone
there?
elderly,
When
you
should they
know,
be
that
out there?
intersection,
May
they're used to
1st.
it being there.
When should they be out
May
there?
1st.
May 1st?
Just something, yeah.
And we're looking at both locations, right? Congamon
Yes.
and Feeding
And I
Hills
think the
Road.
Friends took care of one of them,
Right.
Right.
and then we figured out the other one.
All right, we'll let them know.
It's, you know,
I-
hey,
you got
as Russ would say, we're not getting any younger,
Oh, no,
you know?
He does say that.
He does.
He used to say
He's from the
youngest member of the
He's from the
board.
class of old time. That's all I ever hear.
What?
Best class
I don't
ever.
know.
Oh, the class
I
of
turned around one
1845,
day.
whatever it was, I forgot.
Class of father time.
they
I don't
go?
know. Yeah.
Are you referring to former members,
I'm
Arnold
former
and Pennell?
members. I mean, you know, and I just added
we
it
make
as a
them
little
feel pride.
levity at meetings of making them the senior members and giving the view of the youth. And now all of a sudden,
Oh, how the tables have
payback
turned.
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, but you still will always hold on to the national holiday.
that's right.
On page 6, can we simply strike the printing and binding line item that's been underspent for the last 3 years?
It's coming back though.
They're asking for the same 2,500 smackers, if I'm looking at it right.
Well, it's been a small, I think we could probably get down to 500.
Sure.
500. Wow, we
There's your
saved
port.
some money.
There's your porta potty.
Yeah.
We saved $2,000.
It's kind of like bonding.
All right, I got another one.
Different kind of binding.
Recreational patrols under the police salary.
Wait a minute, we're still on page 6.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Russ is on page 47.
Now,
Wait,
the
this-
binding is on page 6,
Right.
and I'm on page 6.
Okay, so
Recreational
everybody's
patrols.
okay with those other red ones under Town Hall Capital, right?
We
You've
already took them
made
all
those
out
decisions.
except for the,
The 50.
Easily.
Right.
right.
Okay, so now we're under police. Okay,
Would you like
recreational
recreational
patrol,
patrol?
yeah, that's for
That's the
things that are
LPP.
non-LPP related.
Okay.
That's for like snowmobile patrols,
All right,
ATVs.
look at what we've
The real,
budgeted, look at what we've expended.
Well, that could be because of where they charge off. They might have charged some of those things off to overtime.
Well, we're not spending it.
yeah, drop it to 5 and see what they say.
5?
Yeah.
All right, we saved $4,000. Hey, we got a new chief anyways. He's never gonna.
He's
know.
never gonna know. No.
Right? Hey, we could drop all these.
Yeah.
He'd never know.
Wait, what do you mean there's no holiday pay?
Yeah.
Just drop everything.
Yeah. Get
I
your
think
big
they'd
boy
notice
pants
that.
on, yeah.
You think?
Well, he wouldn't notice, but someone would file a grievance and they'd be marching through here and every
they
selectmen's
yelling?
meeting at night, they'd be waiting with their binoculars outside for us to come out.
That's an El Camino.
Green,
Great.
with a bad inspection
I got
sticker.
it. I got it.
An 8-cylinder big block.
All right. No.
All right, we're really $6,000 we saved on that. We are cruising.
And we're rounding up. All right, we're good.
We're better than that.
Okay,
5, 7.
Police operations.
Let's use the crap out of that taser.
just don't volunteer to be the guinea pig for it. That's-
Dude, I've been trying to get away from it for almost 3 years.
Petty cash, drop it down to
What is it?
Where?
Petty.
600.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll make it 500. Really, he's a new chief, he's never gonna know anyway.
Probably doesn't even know it exists.
I think that's what they're used to.
It
Feeds
feeds
the
the guys.
Fees who, the prisoners?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't get many.
Well,
Oh, now
the
that we're
sheriff-
taking the Ludlow, so that's
Yeah,
why the expense
right.
is down.
Okay,
So-
500.
So it's 500?
Yeah.
Maybe those guys can clean the stalls. Community service hours.
Oh, here we go.
before
When
they
are we
even
gonna
get
have
in
some
trouble.
license plates to kick out while we're at it?
Ooh, that ain't a bad
Hey,
idea. We
that's
Get
not
some,
a bad
get some
idea.
farm, some farm plates.
We have the
Maybe they can go-
250th celebration coming up.
we
They
need
can
some
make
plates.
those
Vanity
Yeah.
plates?
Yeah.
Get a couple of weed whackers, they
You
can do
guys
that
are
preserve you
killing
keep talking about.
You guys are killing me.
I think they just wanted, I think,
They just wanted it up, so that's why it wasn't an addition.
right, it wasn't an,
What's
it
that?
wasn't a new item. Just under the dispatcher, they were looking to increase overtime, part-time,
Yes,
yes.
I think we just gave back some of the money we took out,
So
right?
Yeah.
your red numbers carry that, as if that's been
Right.
approved.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the board's position on that?
On the dispatchers?
Yeah,
Well, he said he would need additional part-time.
Yeah.
But if you get the additional part-time, shouldn't that reduce the additional overtime?
It would, but I think last time they posted for an additional part, they can't seem to fill that.
they have to give a number of shifts to get somebody on a regular basis and have them trained and competent.
Yeah.
So wouldn't we give him one or the other?
Men's immense, he's gonna move the money around. He's asking for $8,000 is what he's doing.
Yeah.
What's your pleasure?
I just leave it alone. See how it plays out this year.
Well, because you can always come back for a reserve transfer if they
But that's
actually
what I mean, he's gonna
serious
move
about
the
it.
4 from part-time to overtime or from overtime to part-time.
So what dollar amounts do you want in those, each line items?
I think, yes.
2,000 and 2,000?
No, 1,000.
You gotta be the compromise.
God.
Well, because
I'm hoping
you can
that's
always
the
come back. I've never
additional-
seen that police department not ask for something if they needed it. They march right in here and say, boys, you're writing a check.
Well,
And we do.
this
I've yet
one's
to say
easy,
no.
ground ball, 1,500.
There you go.
For each one.
Yes, sir.
Going
So
up 50.
one is 21.5 and the other one will be,
I mean, if they come forward and say we want to
25,
hire a
right? So it's just-
part-timer, then
Yeah.
I get it. We'll figure it out, but I just haven't seen them do it yet.
27,030.
right.
The training we keep in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna need to train.
No,
the
that you
new
got
one.
to, you know, you got to train.
So where are we at? Oh, we're on 8.
1.8.
Chicka-boom, chicka-boom.
Constables are raking it in town.
Oh, those guys.
All right, so here's where,
Yep.
in 1220, that's where he's getting the fund, that's the fund source, if you will, if you net the fiscal year 18 budget and the 19 request is funding the new additional salary on the blue-headed sheet. Capiche?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think the inspection fees are gonna probably pay for that whole position, right?
No. No.
But,
Not at first.
yeah.
No, but then he was gonna fund it with the offsetting salary from there, and then you
Yeah.
see he's added back 20,000. Hang on, so he took, goes from 28 to 14.
To 14.
So that's 14, that's easy,
Right,
right?
right.
So this
Yeah.
net number
Yeah.
is 6.
But he also did it in the EMS account
Right.
too, so
Right.
he did it in two places.
Two spots.
All right,
But I,
well, well, I'm gonna pitch it one more time. Yeah.
All right, better up.
And I said this before. We did a pay study, which showed us that we were the only community in comparable communities that they looked at with a full-time secretarial position,
Right.
all right? most people either had none or a part-time position.
Right.
We have a fire chief that came from a comparable community who had no secretary. All right?
Right.
We are trying to go ALS, which is going to cost us additional funds.
Yes.
We just voted the other night to increase the funding for the deputy chief position
Correct.
because we're not able to recruit at the money that we previously thought we could.
Correct.
All right? I was there when we expended money for hardware and software to do the billing. We have a billing company who, when I met with them, with Carl, when we had talked about rates, explained to me that all the data the EMTs enter goes directly, bills are taken care of. That was one of the reasons why we had to have a full-time secretary, was billing for the ambulance. And that has been eliminated. Now we're bringing on additional administrative working staff. We also have the technology that we didn't have before, call forwarding and other things that we could use to offset this position. I think if we were in the private sector, this would be a no-brainer in my opinion. This position would be eliminated completely because it's more important to have ALS and have that life-saving personnel out there than this position. And we have a chief that came from a community where he didn't have one. So I think the position should be eliminated. The money should be going for the inspector and for the deputy chief.
He's gotta stop holding back.
It's the green tea. Between the deputy chief and the administrative side, I agree that there'll be plenty of
I mean, we have
bodies
shared-
up there.
Shared
I get it.
dispatchers. You've got call forwarding.
Yeah.
We have the senior work program. If you're worried about somebody to sit there and to direct people or something like that, you can have somebody sitting there in the hallway and direct them.
Well, you have staffing on site
But you have staffing on site.
if there's no
But-
call.
Some of the administrative work just from our office, the payroll, the purchase orders, all of that.
But the
Do
chief
they
was
have a
doing, the chief was doing all that at his other former position, as a chief, fire chief in Granby.
There'd be a
You're
learning,
gonna have
there'd be
a-
a learning curve, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's just one of those
different.
things,
Yeah.
it's just to think about,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they have thought about it, but there, some key pieces that,
Yeah. I mean, this paramedic level, I think we're way over our head in it. We're going in the direction we need to go in. I think our cost, mentally, what we thought we were gonna be, we're probably not even gonna be close.
No.
By the time we're done
It's-
training guys in
We
Northampton.
already know it's running
and-
higher than we thought.
Yeah, and it's not gonna go away anytime soon.
No.
So these are tough cuts and it's things that's where we're headed. It
That's
sucks.
how I'm looking at
Yeah.
it, that we have to make tough decisions. And, look, I'll even go a little bit further. I was on the finance committee when Proposition 2.5 was voted in. And it wasn't easy, because we had to cut positions. And when you look at positions, you should just look at positions. You shouldn't look at people. Try to keep that separate,
Yeah,
but you gotta make tough decisions
my wife does that all the time.
on positions, not people. And I know it's a hard thing, but you gotta make those tough decisions. And I think this is one where it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
I'm a nobody here, but can I just say one thing? No, it's a, I think if you wanna do that, I don't have any problem, but I think for this year, you should keep some kind of money in there,
In that account.
only for some of the training purposes. To get, if you could see the complicated payroll, someone is definitely gonna have to be taught that. The bills purchase orders, you can do it. But I'm just saying, there's a lot to do with that payroll.
But we have simplified the payroll by making, we're working to simplify the payroll by going to a different method
So you're
of
thinking like
compensating.
maybe 5,000 in that line item?
I'm
Well-
just saying, I think it would be nice if you could,
But town meeting's in May,
Yeah.
budget's July 1st. So if you've made your decision, now you know where you are, June,
Yeah.
May, you
okay,
know.
Yeah.
all right.
Or even if, well, once the budget's been passed the
Yeah.
finance committee, the line's in the sand, so you know it's coming.
Then,
To Russ's
okay,
point.
yep,
So then you
I'll-
say, okay,
I'll
and how the
just
chips
wanted
fall is
to
how the
make
chips
sure
fall,
you
right?
Thought
Yeah.
about that payroll.
Yeah. and they-
No, it's really important, right? Because,
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
you know, why do people show up here
Your
every
concern is
day?
on the transition.
The
That's your
transition,
concern.
you're right.
And, and as well as when the administrative captain comes on board and could be doing some of the payroll.
Well, but
Well, same thing,
Or the deputy,
training.
excuse me.
Right, training
The
there too.
deputy.
Deputy chief would be,
Right. That's an administrative position.
that's
Yeah.
administrative position, it's a working position.
Yes.
All I'm looking at is the money we've expended over the years. It goes back to that SCADA thing too. We've expended money on hardware and software. We've hired billing companies. We've done all this to save money so that we could spend money to go ALS, right?
Yeah.
And to save lives. So, I mean, eventually push comes to shove. And we gotta make this thing work.
Yeah, yeah. The deputy chief is gonna be administrative, the chief's administrative. There's plenty up there.
you know,
When
and
it's filled.
and to your point, they've posted for this position, they haven't hired this position, they haven't started an interview for this position yet. So they had this last year, there was monies allocated and not spent because the position didn't fill, so they were able to reprogram some of that dough if they needed it for interim work. So you don't need to carry it in that line item because the deputy chief will be funded July 1st.
I'm still not,
He ain't gonna be here July 1st, more than likely, right? Just the way things are going. So you'll have that salary account or salary
look
line
at.
item to
Okay.
move if you need to move it to do it. So if it is the will of the board to do what Mr. Fox is suggesting, then we go.
Yep.
okay.
I think we have consensus to do that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be on EMS too then.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second.
Take your time.
Yeah.
This might be an opportune time to take a 5-minute break.
I could use.
Can you pause that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, continuation of Select Board fiscal year 19 budget. The break is over and it's 7:30.
All right, so we start over on page 1?
Believe.
Okay, we are still on page 8. Those we did do.
The security and facility upgrade, additional camera and replacement, did we star that or just?
Yeah, you put it down to 10,
10.
right?
10, 10, okay.
I got rid of it, but 10 it is.
We have to have our own reconciliation meeting?
No, we're good. I'm
Okay.
just venting. It's all good.
Moving
Don't
to page
forget,
9?
you know, at the end of the day, the apparatus, 1.2 million comes out, goes to, if it's a bond issue,
Right,
then
right.
we have to speak, you know, Laura and I have to figure out what number we're gonna plug in for a temporary borrowing for that, as well as the DPW truck, you know, all of these things. we have to
Yes.
have temporary borrowings.
Hurt to trade in on the old one,
A little bit. Little.
because you have to make 2
Whole new
trips to
meaning
trade it
to
in.
push, pull, or tow.
Or
So a lot of that
drag.
Or
apparatus,
drag.
even though it says $1.2 million, it becomes a zero. But we'll have to go and do corresponding
At the end where you have your,
under bond
Yeah.
anticipation.
All right, so,
We'll have to put a corresponding.
so this
number.
one came out.
so you wanna put it 0 for
This
now?
one came
Yeah, you
out.
gotta put this at
This is
zero.
Radio.
Yeah, because we're,
Well, we can,
Yeah.
yeah, we have some, you can leave it there for now, when we'll go through the
Well-
FinCom meeting, but,
No, because
Well, I'll
we're
put
gonna
it-
have to
I'll
go
put it-
back and look at where we are
Yeah.
soon,
Oops.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
because then we have to go back and start
that's right, we can just.
taking more stuff out.
All right. Anything else on page 8?
No, that was a bloodbath.
Yeah. The tires went back down. Tires are gone, good.
What's that one under?
No, we bought all the tires for the vehicles. And
That was a
it didn't
fire.
extend over, it was one
Yeah,
shot.
no, we did that in
Yeah.
DPW too, they're also, you'll find that,
Yeah.
they've been reduced there.
Yeah.
And plus, they just got,
Um, Okay, 9. The radio, what did the radio, did that stay at 4? Or
yes,
did that go to 2?
that stayed, and then we killed the
other
last
two-
two.
Went away, okay.
Can we go back to e-permitting system outreach under building operations?
Well, that's outreach program, it's
It's
not.
not
It's not
That's-
e-permitting, it's crossed off.
Okay, so it's just
It's
the
outreach.
It's
Just outreach.
That's his
it's-
like deck building thing
Okay.
and wall, retaining wall
Right,
thing.
e-permitting, that's got built in through the IT budget, right?
Okay, but,
Yes.
Yes,
Subsidiary.
yes.
okay, no, I was just wondering, because we haven't expended a lot of money, and we got 1,500, I didn't know whether we could reduce it by a little bit.
Yeah, I'd throw it at 9
Want to do that?
and see.
All right.
That's, so he's having those classes.
Right, I
Yeah,
mean,
Over
I
at the
hear
fire
it's-
station.
It's been very well
Oh,
attended.
well attended.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been pretty,
but I mean, even if we went to $1,000.
all right, let's go
you
with
know,
1,000.
You know,
Okay.
So emergency management, there's the minor equipment he's going over on and his ammo supplies.
You want $50 on the ammo.
That's it, okay. I saw
350 to 400, right?
I see
I just looked at
858.
Huh?
Oh, okay. I was looking at past years, I'm sorry.
I'm just using I gotta use a thing like a ruler.
Yeah.
That's what I thought we-
If we could get rid of some columns, I would.
No,
It's coming.
Gone.
I would have no objections.
Okay, so on the animal control one, you've already adjusted that number, Laura?
3,200.
Yeah,
32, and
And
then you
then two.
adjusted the,
assistance fees down to 2.
yeah,
so the 2 reds are gone on the bottom of 9.
Yes.
Are we on page 10?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, here's the animal control guy.
Woof.
I was just wondering whether the assistant animal control officer thing should just be rolled under the one that says part-time. And then you're already gonna take the savings out of assistant fees. should we just be increasing the part-time health one? Or do you want to actually give it its own identity?
Well, there's $2,000 extra in there, right? The year before, she,
Why don't we let the new chief work that out?
yeah, that sounds good.
He's gonna be in charge. Let him work that out.
There you go.
Okay, so you
The-
still have the gazebo
the
thing as an
electric
outstanding issue on this page.
Plus,
Everything else you had okay.
Where?
What, plus,
Yeah.
well, wait a minute, they got a wireless connectivity monthly charge for security camera at Weirgate.
That's an operational expense.
500.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got security camera
Canal Brook.
wireless connectivity at Canal Brook Weirgate, 4,000.
That's
That's
the
the
capital
purchase.
expenditure buying the unit.
That, okay.
And you already okayed that in the other sheet. See this one here?
So we okayed
You
it under
okayed it on the
capital.
sheet.
Yeah.
Okay,
Your question was about the gazebo
Gazebo.
roof.
okay.
And you put a star next to it, so what do you, is there a decision on that, or?
I'm not spending 5,000 for a roof.
What was that?
I'm not spending 5,000 for a roof.
I'd like to reach out and see if we couldn't Budgt or, I don't know.
Right, but you know, generally, they still make the other party buy the materials.
All
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
$1,000 will be plenty for materials for that gazebo roof. No?
Is it-
You know, I'd
How
like.
big is it?
It's not very big,
No, it's not even 24, is it?
no.
Ay, ay, ay.
I don't know. Who came up with the 5,000 figure? Was that just
The committee.
the committee came?
What is
I leave it at 0, and if it's a couple $100 for supplies, a selectman's gift account looks wonderful. The time comes at the time. It's not, you're right, it's not that big, I mean, that's the,
You know, is it wood?
It's a
It's a-
destination for weddings.
But I mean, the
we charging them for those weddings? No.
wood, it's not asphalt shingles then?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's wood shaker.
It's wood shake.
Yeah, this was built by, it was funded by the Turnpike Authority grant, and it was a company from Pennsylvania came up and constructed it. It's wood shaker.
So
It's
it's,
not your asphalt.
so it could be historical building then.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I'd hate to see that bill, though. But yeah,
Aren't we doing another historical building
a
with
roof,
community preservation?
Morehouse, yeah.
There was something
Yeah.
they threw that out at the FinCom, and I think they said that they couldn't do it because it was repairing.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
true, yeah,
I
you're
know.
right back to the repairs versus,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I was
being.
he was
I was
making,
joking.
he was making it funny.
I was
There
joking.
is a difference between a rehabilitation standard under the CPA and a maintenance. But it is something that is probably a wood shingle
Right.
as opposed to your
So that
traditional
would
asphalt.
drive up the cost.
Right, and it was done by a team out of Pennsylvania.
So it could be historical.
It's built
Yeah,
by
but
the
it's-
Amish is
but
what
it's-
you're saying?
But it's
Yeah.
maintenance.
I'd like to keep it starred and
Yeah.
maybe make a few phone calls or,
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll leave it till next week,
Maybe
okay?
not.
So it's in, but I put a little.
Have her-
Right, and then at the
have her
bottom, the
maintenance
alum
helper.
treatment, you already made that decision, so you're now on page 11.
Okay. We killed the roller, right?
Well, up top there, you were already, you finished.
Well, we
We
killed those
started
first two
most of
already.
those things,
Yeah, yeah, the herbicides. remember
Change that to
Okay.
herbicides.
Yeah.
Okay.
Granville Road we did. Granville Road paving and drainage we did. Robin Road we did not. Nicholson Hill we did not. Sidewalks.
So besides the 465, everything else you took out, right?
Right.
Are we,
No, we left the 480 then.
You left the.
It was one of those star.
The 480 was starred?
Yeah, everything I think was kind of starred. We
Okay.
said we'd come back to
Yeah.
it, but we agreed on the 465.
Yeah,
So the other ones you're not done with?
no,
No, we were gonna see what we had after we went through everything and come back, and if we could add, I would imagine we would add.
Am I,
Well, that doesn't tell her what she's doing.
am I removing it and putting a star that we're gonna add it back in, or am I leaving it in and we're gonna come back
Because of the
and?
tabulation of the number.
Well,
In that case, you'd be removing it, and
hang
when
on.
we go, gee whiz, the number's so low, let's relook at things, which we never do, then we would relook at it.
Just-
For sure, Robin Road, Nicholson Hill, and the sidewalks were out. And the Granville Road culvert replacement was in.
Yes.
Correct.
And I guess we take out the Granville Road paving and drainage for now.
Right.
And we'll come back and figure it out.
and the roller, so every,
And
basically.
pesticides is herbicides.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Page 12, top. Cedar Street.
Yeah, that was out too, right?
Your dump truck, you already decided you would do that. Tractor with mower attachment,
I think it was out.
that was out. 1 ton was in.
In,
Yeah.
Stormwater administrator,
out,
Nippity stormwater permit compliance.
out.
Okay, that's page 12, 13.
so the administrator was out.
Yep.
Now, at the top of 13, Laura, you got 01430 culvert project, Congamon Road culverts, but you got zeros. So it's as if it never existed.
It,
Probably wasn't 15 or
it was
14,
15,
13.
it was in the prior.
Okay, so it can go away then now, in terms
Yeah.
of our detail. It just,
I-
it comes off of this report.
It will come off that report once we decide how many years on the final budget we are going to show
in the book,
in the book.
In the book, that'd be
The handbook.
16, 17, 18, and proposed 19.
okay.
Okay,
That's usually what it is, right? It's just 4 years.
I think there's, it's
So?
5, but
We'll look at it. I
Well,
thought it was
yeah.
4.
if it's 4, that would be great, because the print's getting small, sorry.
Oh, I know what you're saying, because if you collapse all these other columns,
Yeah,
It gets
then you
bigger.
might comes back into view again.
yeah, just so I can print it for you guys.
Any other questions on 13?
So 236,000 is our,
That's your trash fee.
right.
Yeah.
Any idea what we take in our $100 hits?
You mean on the revenue?
Our sticker program, yeah.
What, well, she can run that number, don't forget.
I just wondering.
You give,
Oh, no, I know.
if you average
I understand.
1,800, 2,300 stickers, you're gonna have a
Half of them are
significant
half
number.
off. yeah.
Half.
Right.
Half
okay.
or half off.
Half or half off.
Right, in fact, some of the people in this room have even qualified, so.
I should look into that, I don't think so.
Under
Only
DPW
50-ish.
solid waste operations, composting. I mean, the previous years, we didn't come anywhere close, but now this year we're at 1,500 expended. Did we start composting again?
You know what they always did?
Yeah, we just
Right.
turn it
They've
over
been
back
doing it
there.
up there, Russ.
Well, how come we had 3,500 budgeted and
Yeah, for 2
16
years
was
we
only
didn't spend nothing.
$709 and $782, and so far this year we expended $1,584.
More leaves this year.
What was that?
They had more leaves.
More leaves this year.
Maybe they had to repair the composting vehicle, which is it's the oldest of the bucket, right? Because all they do is turn it over.
I
back
didn't
there.
even know if we were composting anymore. I don't.
Well, I know when I show up with my truck that doesn't have a commercial plate, but it's bigger than the average beer, I get yelled at all the time, even though it's got leaves in it. No commercial dumping.
I
So,
was just wondering what was
Yeah.
going on. Seemed odd.
Are you gonna take on page, sorry to get ahead, 14, the software maintenance, will that roll into the IT budget eventually? And not be under COA operations? Because everywhere else, all the IT stuff gets moved upstream.
We can, I guess we have to just decide whether we're gonna completely centralize all the IT stuff. Or
Right,
stuff.
she's in a crossroads. We get half
Yeah.
the people off on their own and then the other half we're saying we should put under her. She just wants an answer one way or another.
Gotcha.
Right,
Either everybody or
regardless of whether it's.
Yeah, well, so it should be everybody or nobody, it shouldn't be
that's
half,
what
right?
she,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what's been happening, police and fire and library doesn't even put it in their budget. They just buy it out of their own private donations.
Yeah, put your
So-
foot down.
I don't think you're allowed to talk to police and fire, right? They're on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
You're not
You just
even.
gotta put your foot down. You have the checks.
Well, I think I've been hearing rumors about that. I think she does put her foot down lately. At least when I turn to my receipts, I get, I don't know everybody else, but I feel credit card statements now.
Okay, so
done
what
with
is-
that one?
So what did
So-
we decide we're
I-
gonna do with that one?
It doesn't matter,
better.
that's
Yeah.
bookkeeping and housekeeping.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always found that it should be in with the department, only because then you really see what that department is costing. Do you know what I mean?
I get it, but
If you put it all in one, you don't know where that,
Well, maybe they should have, each department then should have IT hardware, IT software, or IT, capital IT, OpEx, however you wanna look at it.
Well,
And
I think one of the
consistent.
reasons why Carol's mentioning that is because over the years, we've had people
Right,
come to a conclusion that general government was spending more than it should in terms of the trending on benchmarks.
Yes, I know.
And then when you start breaking the numbers out, you find that it's subsidizing a lot of operations for other departments that fall under other categories.
Right.
I get it.
So from a
When this
Schedule
board
A point
changes,
of
they look
view-
at it and go, what's that big
so
number?
she has to take the numbers and recalculate them under a Schedule A point of view to get the other true costs for the Department of Revenue reporting requirements.
correct.
So is that what you're referring to?
Yes, I am.
Mr.
Yep.
Fox?
All right. Board of Health salaries.
Is that page, where are you on?
14.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Ta-da.
And I'm referring to the email from that the Board of Health is going to be signing a new letter of agreement
Yeah.
with Tommy.
Under their statute, they can do that.
But do they set the salary?
Yep,
They set the
under their
salary.
statute, yep, they set for their person.
So we have
They've been
no,
doing that the last couple of years.
okay.
Yep.
So it's,
Doesn't make it
but
right.
it's up to the taxpayers to ratify it at a town meeting.
Just like they do
Yeah.
your
Any
decisions.
contract,
Yeah.
okay. No, it's just, I mean, the way I read this email is, I mean, that he's budgeted 45,198 for pay, but they're gonna bump that to 48,160 for the remaining of
This year,
this year.
right, retroactive,
Ret-
it's a retro, just like you did.
It's
for-
retroactive to when?
July 1st, last July 1st.
last July 1st.
Right, it's for fiscal year 18,
When did his contract run out?
March of 2017.
Okay.
It ran out before the end of fiscal year 17.
So they're just getting around to this now.
Yes.
So how do they make up that shortfall? Is it
Through,
reserve account?
no, they would do it through the same way you're gonna do the other ones, through salary reserve at a town meeting and a special town meeting.
So at a town meeting, part of the reserve would be to.
Part of the salary transfer.
Salary reserve would be to.
Right.
It's
Yep.
all in there, other than we
Yep.
just don't make that decision.
Right. It's handled the same way you handle yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
That's under our own town statute that's done, or that's a
They
sub?
separated that out years ago, right?
It's a state one because you're not under a town statute. If you were under a charter or a special act
Right,
that created and organized the affairs of the town of Southwick, then that would be addressed in the makeup of that document and who makes those responsibilities.
Yeah.
In the absence of having such a mechanism or a charter, you act upon a series of loose statutes
Yep,
like you do
I
for
get
the
it.
chief at 41-108, 0, 41-108N, all those other statutes come into play.
Right. No, I think Tommy does a great job. I think we have a good Board of Health. I'm just looking at this, I mean,
Yeah, the board used to handle it for them, but at some
Yeah.
point in time in the last 5 or 7 years, the
I
Board
thought
of
he
Health
came in
decided
front of me once.
they decided to exercise their own authority and to do it on their own, which they had the right to do it, so
Yeah.
Labor Council
could we
developed it.
just transparency in government, I mean, it's only 26 hours a week as I read this agreement. Could that be broken down with the benefits, what it would be hourly? You know how we figure out what people are paid hourly?
Oh, yeah, we can give you that, sure.
Okay, just for transparency in government, so that if it does come up at town meeting as a question, because it is a substantial increase for a 26-hour-a-week position, that we can have transparency and be able to answer questions on the town meeting floor.
Well, the
if
Board
they
of
should
Health,
arise.
the Board of Health would be there for those questions.
Right. Well, I mean, people.
Probably wouldn't have the
They're still
answers,
part
though.
of town government, and people still ask. And rather than just saying, I didn't have any control over there, you have to speak to the members elected to the
Right.
Board of Health. I'd rather be able to say.
They're actually meeting tomorrow night in open session if you want to attend their meeting.
Maybe if you could get that information before tomorrow night.
Was it 50,000?
$51,376.
$38 an hour. Without the insurance.
Okay, next item?
All right.
still on page 14? Because we did take out the, we took out the clerical support there too, in red. We took out the van.
Around 15?
Yeah. Someone want to tell me what that number is supposed to be now for the carpet replacement program?
That's to be determined. Carl was gonna figure that out for us.
Yep.
Okay. We X the clerical pay change. Gave them that.
We might be able to go in and reduce their fuel by 1,000
Which one is that?
for library.
Well, as you know, when they had come before you, they had increased the informational material because they had to get to a certain dollar spending threshold to not have to request a waiver.
Correct.
So you've
Say,
made,
say no more.
Yeah, please
Say-
stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
I don't,
You've
I
made
remember
those
exactly.
you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
made those other salary
No,
arrangements?
no, 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 we're all good.
In the upper line items to get that number?
Right, so as much as I'd like to cut something just because it's extra in there in the
It
end,
hurts.
it hurts them. So we're better off leaving it in there, they don't use it. and it's
Righto.
okay.
Right, but you might have already offset it with the extra market adjustments in
Right.
the part-time salaries.
Gotcha. Right, it's all good, I just. Ta-da.
Okay, so Laura, you already know what to make changes on the park and rec, right?
Park and rec.
You've already got those other,
The lawn
decisions.
cares out,
right.
the electricity's out, yeah. And the staff is-
Okay, we're on what, page 16? And we left in hardware and software services, Joe? Because that's part of our
Yes.
Yes.
upgrades to deal with Peter and everything else, and if I have to balance bill everything, I'll reduce the capital, okay?
Yes, sir.
So Laura and I will work on balancing that out.
And then this is where you're gonna end up putting the $1.2 million and everything else in this.
Yeah, the bottom of 16
Yes.
and on to 17,
Yep.
that would end up being probably like bond anticipation notes, Carol, you know, things of that nature where we have to figure out what we're gonna. Oh, and the other thing is, Laura, did you mention to Carol that Maureen Pacella's gonna be, the bank is not gonna be?
Michelle told me.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
tell,
awesome.
Eastern Bank is
Tell
not,
us.
Eastern Bank is not going to be providing financial advisory services to municipalities anymore.
She was awesome.
So the two banks that are in that business are Unibank, which we see at the conference, and First Southwest. So we're gonna be having to go through the process of determining who our future.
so they'll provide the service, we just have to pay for it?
Oh, we always have, yeah.
Oh, they're getting out of it completely.
Yeah.
So you just have to see where Maureen Pacella
Can
lands.
you find out where she's going?
Or if she does, right.
Because that's exactly what it is, right?
Right, and I've asked
Yeah.
bond counsel to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Southwest gives away those little buffaloes every year, you know, and those, I vote for them. I like buffaloes.
You like buffalo or being buffaloed?
Oh.
Either way.
They originated out of
The
Shaman.
Southwest?
Shaman.
Shawmut
That's where they
Bank.
came from, and Unibank came from Bay Bank and Bank of Boston. That's theirs.
Okay.
They don't give out buffaloes.
But anyway, I spoke to Rick, and of course you remember Rick, Russ. He worked under a gentleman by the name of Henry Hall.
State Street?
Henry Hall was bond counsel at Ropes and Gray. Chet Forbish.
Oh, Chet.
Chet Forbish worked over
At State Street.
at State Street over Maureen. That was his boss there.
Oh.
She was just so easy and so comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
understood.
So we'll see where this process ends up. But.
Yeah.
Think buffaloes. Think buffaloes.
Okay, so anyway, Doug, so yeah, we will have to look at that, how that works out in terms of making any corresponding entries. We might be able to just make a modest increase in the bond anticipation note, Laura, you know, just the ban account.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you gotta think about between the truck and the fire apparatus, when they'll be ordered, how much money you'll need at one time, how much money do you need to carry till the end of June, till you pay the short-term borrowing off before you then have access to
Well,
these
right,
other
because the
dollars
fire
to
truck's
start
not gonna
doing
hit us
things.
for almost 2 budget years here.
Not necessarily. Remember, he talked about a demo unit.
Not
that
gonna
he could
happen.
customize.
I guarantee you they're not gonna buy a demo unit.
No, not our boys.
Nope. No one buys a demo unit. That's why it's available. Trust me.
Yeah.
Unless it's black.
But yeah,
And unlettered.
and unlettered.
All right, let's All right, that horse is dead. We gotta stop kicking that horse.
We gotta fix the horse.
Okay, well,
We
maybe
gotta
we'll
fix
take
the horse.
Okay,
We'll
so
take the
that was
stripes off the
page,
police
Doug,
car, just
put
Doug, that was
his,
16. Any questions on page 17?
You can't have it on there.
Those are your healthcare costs, your Maya, we've carried estimates, Maya, on the ranges they gave me. I do have a call in to the vice president of Maya about determining any other year-end dividends or credits to see if I can do a little bit better job on those numbers, but I am waiting to hear. And again, some of these numbers are also predicated on your workers' comp claim history, a lot of injuries to the police department, some building losses. You've added, buildings have been revalued. You've added new fleet vehicles because you're not always netting out ones. You've had net add-ons. And then, of course, town officials' liability. There's been some claims there too. So
Really?
that's-
But those are down in the last 3 years, I might add.
Oh yeah, that's fine. They're still deductibles.
Just had to get that one in.
That's, year's not over yet.
Shh. 40 days, boys. 40 days.
40 days.
So are there any more questions on page 17?
Just above ground fuel tanks.
Yep.
I'm trying to read across here, maybe it's my eyes.
3,000.
3,000, but then over here it's 4,350.
That's the paving and finishing of that work, right?
Which line are you on, Russ?
Under
There.
above ground fuel tank,
On which page?
17.
17.
Okay, yeah.
And if you go across, it looks like 3,017, 3,000 fiscal 18.
I actually know that one.
And 4,350 requested.
Because they didn't incur all the costs yet until this year, so now the long-term,
Oh,
the total
okay.
of cost of that program, there was a supplemental.
Thank
To
you
finish
very
that.
much. Thank
That's
you.
true. You
Yeah.
had an original vote of 100,000.
Okay.
The engineering company estimated the true cost of the opinion of probable cost when John Westcott was here. Then Joe and the committee I'm on tabled it for a year or two. We then went back and revisited the project.
Doubled the money.
Right, we added another 116,000 on.
Took away 10
And
gallons and
now
sold
we're
the project.
probably up to, instead of 2, we're probably up to about 180.
And still don't have a bloody generator
Right,
for
is
it.
that?
No generator.
No, but you could.
But we got a bicycle with a wire.
We're up to about
pedal.
180 on the total cost maybe on that
That's
project.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
does
tried
that
to save
answer
you
your
from the
question?
long explanation, but you got it anyway.
Yeah.
Just thought my eyes were going, that's
Hey.
all. Yeah.
Just remember this, somebody mentioned 37 minutes last night.
Yeah.
That's right. That was pretty impressive.
I know my wife didn't think I went to a movie.
Yeah, mine was. Any other questions on page 7?
No.
Boy. So now we gotta go to water? You guys are all wet.
I think we've already talked about all those other issues related to the fees and the.
Oh, I had another extra page 1. I got confused.
Oh, I lost a page 1.
There you go. There you go. I thought it was Groundhog's Day.
You want a second crack?
I thought we were going through it.
Let's take it from the top. Oh, there goes racquetball night at 8:10.
Thank you. I didn't know where that went.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay, the first page of water, any questions?
No.
Pretty much have dealt with that one. Lauren, what's this one, above ground fuel tank? Is this their share?
Well, you see, there was a supplemental appropriation after
So
the
that's another share for them?
committee that you chaired that held it off for
I'm
2
gonna
years.
work with Michelle tomorrow to figure, we were questioning that too. I was like,
Well, that might just finish their
sure,
share.
but, yeah,
That's
Their
what I
share.
said, their share of
Of
it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so water's all done.
It's all wet.
Sewer?
Gosh. Oh, I still gotta meet with that guy yet. Damn it. Carl, you and I.
Yours.
The water guy. The water commissioner. Got his overhead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do that.
I did tell him I would. It's going up.
Get it done, yeah.
Sewer. Pretty much you took her in the, 55 now. I think
How
that's
come that amount is in red? Should I be worried?
the repair shop?
No, the sewage flow fee on page water, on page sewer.
Oh,
Yeah.
under expended for
220.
fiscal year
Yeah.
18 to
Yeah.
217.
275.
It's
Just
just
an
an
error.
oops.
Checking.
Yeah,
That's making sure we didn't,
that's just
Somehow.
the year, that's just the year to date.
I was making sure it's not negative 118.
No, no,
No,
no,
we're good.
no,
No,
we're
she's
good.
flowing.
Did we, when we voted to adjust the sewer rates, did we vote to go up 50 cents every year?
It was
You
a
might have only done 3 of
3-year
the 6 years worth,
Okay,
Yeah.
but you did make a multi-year motion.
right. Because you weren't on the board when we voted for that, right?
I think it was.
Was it in year 1?
Might have been year one.
Had to
Might
be
have
year
been year
one.
1.
Okay.
Because you had to sign a,
We
you had
had-
to sign,
A new project from Westfield at the same
yeah,
time.
you had to sign an agreement called for under the IMA to change the rates.
Yeah.
Right.
I just wonder, since we're suggesting to the water commissioners to review their rates,
Oh, you've done yours.
that
Yeah.
want to make sure that we're up to date.
Your public works director had given you a report and you were right on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're getting them coming and going.
You do.
I figure if we're gonna do a rate increase, we want to do it before he leaves as chairman. You know, that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever we can do in those next, how many days?
40.
40 days.
I'm guessing. Dude, you only got 2 weeks because I'm gone at the end of April. Gone. It can't even be 40 days. What's today?
When's the election?
No, it's not until after the
Right,
annual town meeting.
the day after. Well, that night, right? Oh, yeah, the
No, the
following week.
election's before the annual town meeting.
It's the week after the ATM. I
So
guess
the town meeting
it is
is when?
40 days.
Yeah.
Okay, the last one is EMS.
May 15th.
EMS.
What's your guidance there?
Well, you reprogrammed that 12, 8, 20. Everything else, Mensa Mensa, we've been beating the snot out of his budget. We've been through it like 16 times, right?
Yeah. The other issue you did need to look at is his proposal on the volunteer stipends.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because your stipends are gonna go from 96.5 to 150,000.
I don't know
think
if you
that
want. I
was-
don't know if you want to step into that.
That's huge.
Step into it over a 2 or 3 year period.
You know, whether it's one.
Yeah. On 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3.
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah, you have to. There's,
Right.
Yeah, it's a big nut.
Right.
So that becomes
We're trying to do
105?
so much in that department, you know, the new truck,
Two-
a new
Trucks.
deputy chief.
Yeah, because EMS, you don't bring enough money in EMS, so all of your increases here are going to be on the tax rate.
Right.
yeah,
105.
no, 10 up. Yeah, 105. Yeah, you're fine. Okay, all right. I don't have my right glasses on. I can't see behind myself. But no, usually I have a little mirror so I can see your
Oh,
Who's saying? What are the numbers?
105.
105.
So that's $9,500. Okay.
That's, yeah, 10,000 more.
Well, that's 106.5.
Okay, so it's 9,000.
105.
Even,
Even.
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Russ.
Yes,
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
8,500 increase.
Well, yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you knew
Muggsy.
he was waiting for the figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, yeah, I got it here. Okay, contract and agreement, that was the movement out
Right.
of the general fund portion to the EMS list. Okay, one thing we'll have to look at also in the future is under ambulance billing. We have it at 18 now, so as the
service level changes with ALS, the billing revenue will
Will change.
change, the collection amount collected will change, and the 3.9% payment amount
Is that at
will
all
change.
negotiable?
That is their fee that they charge all their clients. But
I guess I'm just asking, is if you go
we
up to
shop
a
it?
higher, yeah, I mean, if you get
Well, we
a
could have
straight
him look at that.
3.9% of the bill, right, wouldn't it,
of what's collected, not of what's billed. We only are interested in what people collect.
for the purpose of discussion,
Yeah.
I was
Go
trying
ahead,
to be
Douglas.
brief.
You got
To
40
make a
days.
long story short,
You got
which is
40 days.
impossible now,
Yeah.
the fixed cost to enter a bill and pay a bill is what it is, right? So I've seen it with other stuff, not necessarily EMS billing, where there's a fixed fee to go out to do a bill.
Yep.
And let's say it's $50, right? And or 20% of the bill or 4% of the bill, whatever you want to call it. And then above a certain dollar amount, the percentage decreases.
Right.
This is, frankly, they're just collecting the money and passing it through. So an argument can be made that the fixed cost of starting up a single record or call is what it is. So why is it so variable based on the cost? And then also I do, going back to the 105 that
They're
was
more
just
than
butchered.
billing, they're actually doing billing on our behalf, billing out, doing collections, doing second rounds of collections.
I understand, but if they bill
And they
800
file
versus,
all of the reports to the necessary state and federal agencies.
I get it, but if you bill $800 call versus a $900 call, all those costs don't change.
Right.
But yet they're gonna get 4% of that additional $100.
I
Lastly,
have a note here to have the chief look at it.
the other thing is on that 105,000, that was 150,000. Part of that, remember, is it's under EMS, is
Your weekends and your holidays.
no, those are paramedics, so they do bill out at a higher rate too. We pay them at a higher rate
When that does happen.
when it happens. So the reason to step that in is we won't be doing that this year anyway.
Right.
So be more per diems, paramedics, nights, weekends in year 2.
Right, but this
Yes.
volunteer stipend account is gonna cover paramedic and non-paramedic.
Correct. But you're going to start to have more and more paramedic.
Related
Right.
calls. Once we get to the level where the staffing level is done, the rig is certified, and we actually can start billing.
Where's your sheet?
Yes, sir.
Which one?
That last sheet, the EMS sheet. You need to close out your deal.
Yes.
So that,
Yes, I got it.
yeah.
That's already been taken.
Where are we?
Well, we're probably not good.
But we probably wanna have, what, a general fund,
That's what I was going.
So we say the trailer park out there?
We stay on BLM land, which is land of,
land of
Bureau of Land
Management.
Management. And basically what it is, it's a big, huge desert area. And you just park there and you have to go get your own water and,
That's what I was gonna say, so no hookups or nothing.
no hookups, no nothing.
Nothing.
We have solar, so we're lucky there, but.
So what are we looking at, Laura?
$10,183,101.
So you got to be 10 million.
183,101.
So,
$10,183,000.
101.
well, I'm just going, that would be left for government, right? And if you change that to that, we would be okay, we'd be under, right? So if you
Yeah.
put this number up here,
Yes.
so we'd actually be a little below the levy limit
Yeah.
then with that number. Not a lot, but
Not a
little.
lot.
And that's based upon how much free cash offsetting it.
The
Yeah.
the 930.
I think we were looking at, our number came in a little higher because we're buying a lot of things in capital, so I was thinking maybe $1 million.
you know, out of the 2 million that we have, because we have year end. You have so much you're gonna need for year end stuff, your
Right.
snow and ice deficit of 300.
Right.
You're gonna be doing a, does that include in at the culverts and all that stuff too?
Just one.
I don't think we've done.
That includes the one culvert there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
in
well,
there,
yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Right, but we
Okay,
have to
so
add
that's-
to it.
Because we can take that out, put that under the special. We can take that out and put it under the special.
So that he could do it right away and get it done.
Right, so
Well, no, but then it takes the burden off the tax rate in
Right.
19.
Right, well, you were gonna offset it with free cash anyway.
The
So,
the 465,000.
Men's amends.
right,
Right.
but I was already thinking in my mind, the 300 for the snow and ice deficit and two or 300 for a project, and having this come out of that, you know,
Of course, we have to
would
put
come off of that other part of the free cash, and then you're gonna roll so much over.
But
Right,
then we
right.
have to,
So I'm already been thinking that through, I'm just waiting for them to cost out the ATM. And the STM.
So they're,
So some
right
stuff
now, they're
we can look at
under
maybe
by
moving there for special.
429,000.
but we have to put in a little bit for,
We could go back into some of
Well,
Randy's
Yeah.
We
things.
also have to
Like the
change our sewer
sidewalk
and our
for
water, 'cause
50,000.
those changes
I don't
would
wanna get
bring
what's
it
his name
down
to
more
pay for
too.
that.
Well, I mean, if
and then,
but if we have it
And
there,
if we add,
maybe we could
another
address a few other
70
Right, right,
sidewalks
right.
too.
Yeah, no, I got you.
We get
You
him,
know-
may get him his vibratory
So we
roller
could
that he
actually-
wants
If we
if
can
they
get-
take
badly.
that
If we can get
400
things
if they
tied
take
into that rail
400
trail,
and,
it'd be a boom for not only the residents, but downtown and the businesses.
Right.
I
We
looked
gotta
at that.
fix that sidewalk.
By the way, I looked at that this
So
past
that
week.
would be, in
100 under.
other words, that would be your
Where
next
we-
priority
Right, and
where
over
we
the
like
the culvert
Right,
would
and if
be
we
add the
change
sidewalk.
the
I'm just saying, we know we don't have big
cuts.
money to spend.
Right.
So if we don't have big money to spend, let's do a little
Not that
project.
they'll be-
But if you look at- if
Are you
look-
taking out the
Give
culvert
a little
then?
blip.
No, one culvert's in.
Okay.
No.
But the other thing is that the sidewalk west of Rails End
Hmm.
to College Highway, not bad. Really pretty good, actually. It's not bad. Not horrible.
Well, there's some spots where there is no sidewalk.
Just right by the church.
Right.
Right at the church, that
That
little
that
section.
house, right. yeah.
But
That Teese's old house for us?
Now, it's the house right in between, I think, is, there's no sidewalk.
I don't know
Right,
how
right.
how that works
I
out. But and
Right
then
where the
Easterly is problematic.
Right.
the housing authority, so there's a section there from the housing authority to the church parking lot, and then to the east, after Marcus is where they hit, near Malone's house, where you go
I don't
into the
think
rail
we did
trail.
either.
Right,
Okay.
needs to be done.
Right.
Needs to be done.
And what it
So
needs to
that's-
record
so that
easement.
number could be the 50.
That exactly. But
Yeah.
we also should take.
Nothing changed at all.
okay.
Cut a deal.
Nothing.
Okay.
On the revolving line, I know.
Right.
Right. But we just have to, council's gonna get you that article for the amendment.
Don't
of
even
the
need it.
revolving.
It should just be a thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we do need it. Because you also have a very large other subdivision type projects coming in that they're gonna ask for that same waiver.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
get the
that's
one-
the way you
right.
foundationally do that.
Okay,
And given that same same land surveyor didn't do a great job over there at Rails End, that's gonna factor into the bondability of the other project.
same person's working on it.
All right? With different contractor,
Understood.
but at the end of the day, you have to hold out and say, we're working off your prints.
All right,
and
well,
your
we'll look at the
as-bills.
numbers tomorrow. You two are in tomorrow?
Yep.
So let's meet tomorrow, we'll look at where these numbers are, and then we'll see,
It's not bad right now.
we'll see what can move over to the special,
Yeah, because she's plucking in the last one.
you know?
Take your time.
Yeah, no,
We got no
Because
place
we
to
we
be.
do
We're
have to make sure
old and
that
married.
we carry over a
No.
certain amount of
The
the free
water-
cash.
Oh, I
Just
changed-
roll.
No,
So,
I accidentally.
I gotta
clicked
make
on
sure that
one.
happens.
What?
Your certified amount, when you take it, you gotta
Went to
net
the
off a
wrong-
piece for
clicked
a
on the wrong
roll.
cell.
Right.
Where
the-
$2
Unlike
million
the
under.
schools,
I'm only
Andy.
kidding.
oh, I know you are, you know. I learned a long time ago about you, don't worry.
Well, that dynamic happened to us one time,
But
so we
still.
learned
Yeah.
the hard way many years ago. That's
Right
why
now,
you do
what,
these
it's
short-term borrowings
six
in
hundred and
June.
thirty-six under the levy limit. And if you decided to take the 465 out for the culvert replacement, I'm just saying.
Right, but, right, we still have to find a matching, well, there's two things that come into play here. We still have to find a matching amount out of the other free cash that's available to offset it. That's number one. And number two, when you give them this number, you're giving them a number with a conservative new growth number in it as a variable. That usually trends a little higher.
Yeah, those 80
And-
houses won't be in there yet.
And, wait a minute, you're predicating it on going up to the full levy limit. They may not want that.
No, we never
Well,
do.
no. But I'm saying, right now, you're 636 under the levy limit.
Okay.
So, if,
Is that with the four something in there? or-
No.
Okay,
no,
Right.
so I'm saying, it's not all, I'm
Right.
just saying,
Yeah.
that's fine. So
we've
We'll-
cut quite a bit.
Yeah, we
good.
did.
Yeah,
let's,
So we'll work
Well,
on it, yeah.
we'll
you
double
guys,
check,
this
we'll
is
proof
sort of
it.
a rough, that's
yeah.
what I mean, it needs to be proved.
Proved.
I need
Oh,
to
yeah,
see
yep,
it.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Because we were
Doesn't
meeting
make
when
sense.
with the finance
Next
committee.
Monday
next
Monday.
Monday.
at 6.
Aye.
Because then we can talk about what types of things would be, well, you already know what's gonna be on the special.
It's not all that bad.
Yes, we
You
know.
have
what's
the
going on.
outline, but
Yeah,
they
I
don't
was
know,
gonna
so
say, do you know
I need
what's
to
on
figure out
the
what
special?
can come out of this, go on to that.
Right.
That you can move up and
So
how
what
the
was-
numbers all work.
I guess we know.
Do they approve what we do, or do they have to look at what we did and give us a blessing?
We meet jointly.
I know, but it's always sketchy.
The finance committee
All
is
set. I think
to
I
give
can-
a recommendation on money article at the town meeting,
Okay.
okay?
It's always nice to have their recommendation.
It's nice when we can agree and go jointly to a town meeting and everything is smooth.
Yes,
There are times when we might have disagreements, and it's our prerogative to give a different viewpoint.
so they may say, we don't like the budget, and that's it.
They,
And they can,
they can,
right,
and we can say that, no, we
We
feel
like the
this is
budget.
our position,
right.
and this is what we're recommending,
Right.
and they can give their recommendation, and it's a democracy in action.
Yes, no, I
But
just
we
didn't know,
knock
like,
on
next
wood.
Monday, how that,
We have been very fortunate that we've been able to come to a compromise with our joint meetings
Yeah.
and go to the town meeting united, and it has worked out.
It is, it's a very good institution.
And
It doesn't
it
happen
is.
in a lot of other
And
communities.
we've had
don't
articles
have
that
this.
we've disagreed on,
Yep.
even in recent years,
Yeah,
right?
It gets
They
worked
weren't
out.
budgetary directly, but North Pond was a good one, right?
right.
They were opposed. We had publicly supported the project,
We did, a
right?
10 million.
And
yeah.
$1 million, and they
Yep.
were not in favor of it. But
Right,
and you know, the way I read the statute, I think it's the way Russ describes is perfect if we can all agree.
yeah, of
But It's
course,
basically a check and balance. Are we spending money prudently and within the town's ability to pay without affecting its bond rating, net at the end of the day?
I
So-
asked that, because sometimes I think we go around the room saying yay or nay, and you're right, most of the time, we're comfortable with the answer.
Right.
But the day's gonna come when we go around this table, and go yay and
Absolutely.
nay, and we're not comfortable
Right.
with the answer.
And that's, in the past, sometimes we take a straw vote, and the majority,
Okay, I just,
and hopefully, I think that's a fair way of doing it,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, I just wanna know ahead of time.
Very cyclical. Yeah, motion to adjourn. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll make, yeah,
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait till you hear it beep.